Hello, everybody. Welcome back here. We've got another semifinal, one more for the day here to decide who's going to be meeting the wonderful Gamer Legion over in the grand finals. Of course, up next, it's going to be 500 versus Astralis Talent. But taking you all through it, it's myself, Exner. I'm joined here by the lovely Sneaky Beaky, and we got a great day on our hands here today.
Yeah, we certainly do. I mean, we had a wild day yesterday. We went all the way up to midnight my time, so 1 a.m. for our teams, as we just could not get a winner between the likes of Astralis Talent and Sinners. It was a crazy game, but come the end of it, Astralis Talent dominated Sinners over on Overpass. And yeah, all in all, we found ourselves another worthy academy team up in the semi-finals. This is the second time it's happened now. As our previous casters mentioned, it was Gamer Legion making our previous CCT final where they lost to Spirit Academy. Yes, they lost to an academy team, and Astralis are looking to make that happen again. But first of all, they need to get past the likes of 500. But before we get fully into that, let's have a look at how the rest of our teams got here. Let us cook, obviously beating Monty in a wild series. Did get pipped to the post by Gamer Legion on Nuke. I would like to say a close affair, but that last map was all Gamer Legion's territory. They are probably the only expected team to make it as far as they were supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this bracket here. It's a bracket full of upsets for sure. There, Copenhagen Flames losing out 2-0 to Astralis Talent at the beginning of this bracket. I think that they're on a little bit of a rampage, right? I mean, we kind of joke about some of the academy roster. Spirit Academy over in I believe it was West Europe taking the cake there, so they're doing great work. Obviously, we're seeing so much depth out of Astralis Talent right now. They didn't just make it all the way through playoffs so far. They didn't just beat Sanders. They didn't just beat Copenhagen Flames. They made it 3-0 through their Swiss stage as well. So they're not doing too much losing as of recent. They're on an absolute hot streak right now. And that's what's so impressive here is that they're taking those wins and they're building confidence off the back of it.
I need to remind you, Astralis Talent came through the closed qualifier, where they also went 3-0. So they've done it twice already, and they're looking to keep doing it all the way to the grand finals. And not only that, this morning they were playing in the Central Europe closed qualifiers. I'm surprised they've not been invited to the main thing at this stage, where they just beat FTW. Admittedly, a 2-1 affair. They slipped up on Overpass in overtime, so that's something they might need to look out for today. I reckon Overpass is probably going to be in the map pool with a team like 500. It's one of their more favoured picks. But before we get into vetoes and maps, why not introduce our teams and their players, starting off with the likes of Astralis Talent.
Yeah, I mean, we got a great introduction to them. We've had a great introduction all the way through the playoffs, right? These guys are not to be taken lightly here. We saw some of their firepower coming through up against Sinners where they were just taking rounds to the palm of their hands. Players like Altex there with his multi-fragging capability was just so fun to watch there. Christo over on Vertigo, he was just a consistent beast to deal with there. And of course, I think Bro, even on some of the maps that they were losing, like on Anubis, he was showing what he could do on the entries as well. So there were so many different strong elements here to this Astralis Talent piece, and I think that's why they've really been formulating quite nicely into the playoffs here. They're building confidence here. They're continuing to compound that, but the individuals are also leveling up.
Yes, like you said, the individuals, their raw aim and mechanical skill is outstanding across the board. And Christo is looking significantly more comfortable in Tier 2 than he did in Tier 1. It's a really nice adjustment period for him. Mister as well is tearing up the scene, and Patty. I made the comparison with Patsy when he was tearing up the main roster yesterday because his aim was spectacular. He was driving it home. And, well, they're looking to drive it all the way to the finals here. But, of course, we do need to introduce 500 in the meantime. They will be up against the Academy squad. That is, of course, Patrick, Nikki, Chips, Rainwaker, Danny Slaw, and the coach of Grasshog. Now, these guys have been doing the rounds lately. They've had their ups and downs, admittedly, but they are looking in solid form at the moment. I mean, they've just come off the back of a victory against 9, and their only 2 losses within the past 5 games are against Forza, who are now leading the charge in Pro League Group D, and Aurora, who are touted to currently be one of the best Tier 2 teams out there. They're pushing the boundaries of Tier 1.5. They destroyed Voivoda, they destroyed Sprout, and their win versus 9 was fairly convincing. So they're in good form right now. And of course, there are some very history names on this lineup.
That's a really good point that you bring up. These guys have been taking on the best that Tier 2 has to offer, apparently, because Forza, we just saw what they just did. They locked in EPL playoffs. I really,
What a
you know,
group, man.
I really can't be more impressed with what they were able to do. So the fact that they're doing damage against that roster, and of course lost to Aurora. We've seen what Aurora are doing. They're just running through every single playoffs, showing that they're here to play and they're here to dominate. So there's no harm in losing to those two teams in particular, right? But we'll take a look at the vetoes here, and something that we were expecting here was an overpass. We're not going to get that here out of Astralis Talent. Again, they talked a little bit earlier there about their loss earlier this morning on that map. They looked really good on it yesterday, though, versus Sinners. It was their closing pick. But again, they're going for these Anubis picks, which is always really interesting to me. They didn't look all that strong on it, but they're sticking to it. They're going to stick beside that map there in the pick against 500. And again, they're going for that punish pick, which is just so shocking, considering how good they looked on some of the other maps.
Yeah, I'm honestly not a huge fan of this Anubis pick. I would much rather they pick into Inferno, pick into Overpass. And as much as that is their opponent's strength, they still have other things in the back pocket to choose into. But regardless of all of that, we will be starting things off on Ancient, which is a map that's been played 11 times in the past 3 months by the Astralis Talent boys, and they've got a 64% win rate. On the flip side, a 50% win rate for 500 over 14 maps played. It's an interesting choice, but regardless, Mr. Chimes on in for the first. Patty will double up for the second two, and 500 appear to have been quite heavily dispositioned early doors.
Yeah, shaking up a little bit, rattled, but there's still a reply coming through from Rainwaker doing great damage here. You would have thought Altex would have fallen off, but no, he pushes forward and Rainwaker punishes. He answers back with 3 kills of his own, and he's equalized the numbers now. They can start to take advantage of this fact. They're going to continue to walk in towards middle as well. Patty's just tucked himself in, so far isolated from his teammate. They're playing this so scary, but now it's going to be Patty to land himself a 3K. And it puts it into a 1v1. Christo, the advantage here is that he knows where his opposition is. He has the bomb, and he's got armor as well.
The way they were playing that, though, it felt like they didn't know they had the bomb. They played it so dangerously, so unnecessarily. In Denny's law, he's just spotted Christo. Christo can't really afford to play for time here. There's 40 seconds left. He's trapped. He's on an island here. He's only got the box for company as Denny's law looks to accompany him to the grave with the rest of his squad. He's patiently behind the side boxes. The very painstakingly slow effort as Christo peeks straight out into Denislaw's crosshair. A 1v2 clutch comes on through, and Rainwaker and Denislaw get it all done. Astralis Talent, they throw away what should have been a guaranteed pistol.
Wow, I mean, that's a 1v2 right there coming through from Denislaw, but on top of that, a 2v5, like you said, that's a 2v5 with bomb in the palm of your hands. You had it, you were huddling on it with 5 players up, and you knew where Rainwaker was, and he was plucking you up, but I think they got a little too hungry for the kills, right? They wanted to convert it, and that's sometimes, the mistakes that can really haunt some of the lesser experienced players. And 500, like you had said coming into this one, they have the experience. They're going to take advantage of that every day of the week. It's a mid-flash setup here. They're just chasing things down. Ships will get blinded up again. So it's a nice kill there to open up things in a second one. Oh, no, not this again. Okay, we go back to reality here, but it's still 3 kills right there. Rainwaker to clean up. But not a bad round from Astralis Talent.
Yeah, it's a good few couple of kills. The fact they get 3 coming through on just the unupgraded pistols is honestly quite impressive, but the thing that scares me the most, Cole, is the amount of sheer eco wins we've seen in these past few weeks. Like, I have never in my life seen more Glock and USP rounds won than in these past 2 weeks. It doesn't make sense. And honestly, I kind of don't want it to. It's been good fun to commentate. I'm still getting flashbacks to, what was it, Christu's getting one-tapped yesterday on the site as his entire Galil magazine misses. But regardless, we'll get back to that in a second. The ships cuts down Mr. Early Doors, and the buy has not gone too well to start off with for the likes of Astralis Talent.
That's an ideal here in the kickoff. Really good counter flashes tossed in consistently from 500, showing their strength on this map for sure. Look very comfortable in the utility usage and the way that they're working this map control. You can see that's going to continue. Patty trying to play right on the edge of that, but instead forced to fall a little bit more passive. Instead, they post up Christo here. But again, the util just keeps on flushing out this control. Systematic coming through from 500 in terms of establishment. It's going to really complicate things here on this B side. What it's doing mostly is just keeping the attention on this B side right now as the bomb starts to rotate elsewhere. If you're making the way towards A, it is going to put a lot of pressure on Altex and what he can do, but he's done a lot of damage straight through the smoke.
Yeah, 500. Look to deal more than just damage, though. They look to search their way towards one of these bomb sites, but they have actually let things slip quite far on the timer side of things. Bro does have to win out a 1v4 here, so it should still be the bomb plant for the Bulgarians. As that util reigns on over, a rotation should be called on in. Bro will no longer be able to deny that plant, though. So unfortunately, he switches to the wrong side of the mound. And with that, Dennis Law plants not as safely as I would have anticipated, but Patty does catch Dennis Law. Nicky pushes him on the reload. A nice play there as a big nade onto Bro. Chips him down to just half HP. Nicky, he's got his number. He's holding this angle steadfast as Astralis talent. Looking like they've lost their foothold in this one. Nicky spins the corner. Rainwaker backs another onto Altex, and with that, Christo is forced to fall away and just try and cling onto that AWP.
That was a nasty little triple fake right there, tossed in from 500. They initially show that presence towards the middle. They land the opening pick, so that's going to complicate the A hold quite a bit. Makes the A player a little bit uncomfortable there. And Altex, hold on, Christo always gotten flanked. Ships is going to take him down. That is a bit heartbreaking. Even grabs an op for his reward. But as I was saying, it get that early mid presence, so valuable, so important on this map here, especially on the T side. And they're able to do that. They couple that with a little bit of defaulting towards B, poking and prod, and taking that map control, tossing in a couple mollies to flush out the cave player to deny info for the most part, and then able to use that to create a panicked rotation in towards A after they cut noise. And they just split it back in towards B. It's really well played from 500. You can see the depth for sure.
I mean, yeah, we talked about them being a super solid team recently. And that's just another example as to what we've been talking about. Patty taken down to 53 here. 500. Look to make this 4-0. It is just the upgraded pistols, and as much as they can get a little bit annoying, especially on a map with so many close corners, Christo's going to be annoyed that not only has he lost the orb, but he's also been spammed down to 10 HP through a smoke in the immediate following round. 500. They stack up 4 players again towards this B bomb site. It is the weaker defended one. A flash sails on over. The B lane peak comes on in, and I imagine about this point that the pace should be picked on up. The bomb will be picked on up by Rainwaker on his rotation over. As Astralis talent do start to get a good bit of information, Bulgarians need to pick up the pace a bit here, Gold, as they might find more pistols than they anticipate, guarding them sooner rather than later.
They got a big flank coming through from Altex, but they've been taken down so low by the utility usage that they need to just land some really nice shots, and that utility and now the headshots that follow suit are starting to land here. There's 3 players that one bullet would do them in. That's a bit problematic here as they just get peppered on it, and the systematic execution comes through. The flank being watched by Dennis Law. He knows he just needs to hold his teammates back right there with the op. They've got it handled for the most part there with the rifles, and my god, 500 looking deadly so far.
Yeah, it's just been a very impressive start from them. Again, statistically, they're slightly worse off than Astralis talent on this map. And that's the youngsters starting on their CT side. If you think Astralis talent do have it in them to bring in a comeback, though, check out our partners over at CCT. Some of the best odds in the business, multiple markets for you to choose from. Use code CCT for up to €130 off deposit bonus, but please do remember to gamble responsibly as 500 gamble towards the A bomb site. Altex shuts 2 down early, though. Ships trades on back, but the bomb has been dropped. Dennis Law sent on in. He's got the dealer as he boosts up his teammate. Will they go for the double swing here? Rainmaker actually waits for them to swing into him. He finds one, not the second good trade from Mr. Dennis Law. He's already gotten out of there, and this might be a very early save call from 500.
Early denial here, but look who's the two players left. Rainmaker no longer the server. He was on that pulled back big time on that pistol, but they still have Dennis Law, the clutch factor, and the server. But they're hit on a bit of a wall right now. We need to let Dennis Law work the op here, work some angles. First things first. Astralis talent could clean this round up relatively tidy here. That would be a huge asset to their defense. They're just waiting for these mistakes here, and I want to see if Astralis talent are going to give them it. A little bit of proking and prodding here for the information. That's the angle that he was holding for so long, but he adjusts his crosshairs just a little bit. A jiggle could be the death of him. Yeah, they might just be saving. That's a bit surprising.
Yeah, that was what, a 1 minute 21 save call for the Lysa 500, which I can understand, but they had a good economy, and that's a big frag from Teddy's Law. That is ridiculous. How he hits the head on that angle as well is just beyond me, Cole. I wish I was as good as these guys, honestly. It would make my pug so much easier.
Yeah, it would be quite nice, wouldn't it? I mean, I didn't even see his mouse move. It's just the pure reaction right there. That is wild stuff. Yeah, either way, Astralis
jiggle and flick, all you need.
Get themselves to the first round here on the board. And nice A defense coming through there. You'll definitely take that any day of the week. Build some confidence here as they were able to just mow things down. I mean, that's Altex kind of doing what he does best, to be honest with you. He's so good on the multi-killing.
I mean, yeah, we saw that yesterday. He was ridiculous at those site entries on Vertigo. The most Vertigo won't be in the map pool here. That is, of course, 500's insta-ban. Hopefully he's able to carry that prowess over. Did in the previous round. We just need Bro to start showing up as well. I feel like there's a large number of really impressive T-side players on Astralis talent here, and I think that's courtesy of the structure these guys have brought to the table. As Astralis are very famed for a very structured playstyle, both with their main squad and with the academy, and the academy seem to making better benefit of it lately as they're about to round the corner straight into Patrick and Denny. Altex actually finds a 3K here. That's exactly what I was talking about. Great opening picks as Ships does trade one back, but again, it's a 2 versus 4 with a minute to spare. Bomb is dropped, AWP is retrieved, and it might just be another save goal here for 500.
It's gonna be. For sure. Bomb stop. I mean, it's the same exact result here, except Altex finds himself 3 instead of 2 and eventually traded. But that was a really well-placed aggression right there. They timed it perfectly. As soon as you saw the utility being thrown out there from 500, it was Astralis talent making the move on and shift walking towards the main fight right there. And everyone had the util out. Everyone was ready to turn the corner and start clearing angles, but what they didn't realize is that Altex had his crosshair already trained and was already spraying them down while they were in that position. It's maybe a bit of fortune on the timing right there, but the execution is still just as clean.
I mean, it was an execution. Altex absolutely obliterates them. Heads 3 players. Super clean round from Astralis talent. Only losing 1 player as well gives their economy plenty of breathing room. 500 on the flip side, yes, these saves are very much beneficial. They will allow yet another buy, but I'm going to be completely honest with you, Colt. If they go towards A main again, I have a feeling that they've already run out of strategic depth. They need to do something else. Try something new here, as they are surprisingly the heavy favourites, 1.38 to the 3.04. They are 36th in the world to Astralis Talent's 73rd, but that's not stopped Astralis Talent before. And it won't stop them ploughing into middle either.
Trying to hold on here, Altex, so he needs to keep his head on the swivel. Flashes aren't fully catching him. Neither are they for Mr., but somehow Denislaw pulls this round back through the smoke. That is incredible. I can't believe he hit that shot right there. Straight through the smoke. He's going to nail it. Now the aggression comes through, but Patty gets spammed out by Nikki. A little bit of hesitation in this aggression, but he continues. The confidence definitely not missing out of the Astralis talent boys, but right now you see a bit of aggression coming through. Patrick slipped the gap here big time. He's already in towards CT spawn here. And now it's a race against the timer of the flank from Patty versus the flank of Patrick here, but he holds the cutoff instead. He's just going to post himself up to cut these rotations, and no one's ever going to clear this angle. Hello. warm welcome from Patrick, and they know Altex is the A player. So do they go B? No, they're gonna commit, but Altex is here. And he spotted one out. He's looking for the second here through the smoke. He's doing great damage. Altex might just save him. Both players incredibly low. The HE sinks in, but no kill. He's avoided it for now.
Look at the health, though. 9 HP on Patrick, 6 HP on Altex. All it takes is a single bullet from any gun, a tickle of damage from that Molotov that Altex is wielding, and the entire round will be over. He could isolate this. If he puts the Molotov in far enough, Patrick won't be able to swing and deny the bomb defusal. There's a kit on Altex here as he edges his way towards the site. Does need to pick the pace up a little bit here, but Patrick's actually planted for him. This is perfect, Altex. Is he just going to stick it? Patrick edges his way forward and cuts down Altex. A valiant effort in the clutch from the young Astralis talent player. But 500 will seal the deal off of better heroics from Patrick. Great rotation denial. As you can see, picks up 2. One more than he ever should have been afforded from that position, as Altex does so damn well. And very lucky, admittedly, to find that second frag. But choosing to stick will unfortunately result in his demise, and it's 5-2 to 500.
Yeah, not a lot you can do right there. Patrick just read that round really well. I feel like sticking the defuse is probably the best thing you can do when you're that low on HP and you know your opponent's that low on HP, so nice try. But no fortune. And now they can recover here. They've still got some decent investments, but Charles' talent, this does kind of become like a necessary round here. They could get right back to like reset territory here. Big economic shock could take place here very soon if they're not careful about this round, if they don't make this happen here. They're using a lot of that utility right now already. No kits either. So if this goes to one of those post plants again, then there's going to be continuation on those problems.
Yeah, I mean, until the gunfire starts, speaking of utility, if only he'd Molotov Donut instead of a main, he would have won the round because Patrick didn't have the health to charge through the molly.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Obviously,
It wasn't planted for Donut though, right? So it's like, why would he ever molly that?
It was effectively a bait for Patrick, which was really well played on the end of it, as Rainwaker not baited into Mister's crosshair. A nice double opener here for the likes of 500. As the smoke does stall them temporarily, Christo's aware of the fact there could be a man in the back lines, but Chips doesn't give a damn. Close lines too, and Christo's left in a 1v5. Finds the first, his position's been accounted for. They're just going to send in 2 to deal with him. Chips, can he find a third? Of course he can. 7-3 for Chips right now, as 500 stands 6-2. It's been a rough start for Astralis talent. On a map that's increasingly 50-50, they just can't keep letting the T's get away with as much as they have been.
It's looking very strong here for the T side. Comes the clutch factor, they've had that. Know that Astralis talent probably still a bit frustrated that they didn't even pick up the pistol in a 2v5, right? So there's a couple, small details that they're not too happy about, but 500 really just playing a hell of a game, I think more so than anything. Looking very sound on this T side. The structure's there. Looks like they're gelling quite nicely here on Ancient. A little bit of aggression here. Caught out, though. It's being fully anticipated. Everyone's watching and waiting for you. Takes down 2 there from both Patrick and Nikki. I have no trouble dispatching of that here, and should be a 7th likely from 500.
You don't believe in the Christo P2000? Oh, well, you don't have to. Tenny Slow will catch him with the Molotov. I'll take some Mister, both on upgraded pistols, but that's not saying much against the full buy of 500. I mean, they've even got Patrick on a Mac 10 to farm up a bit of extra cash if he's given the opportunity. Looks to be the first to meet with Altex in towards Cave. Will fall back a moment. This 500 have been leaving a couple of these rounds very, very late. There's been some very fast plays and some very slow plays and very little in between. As Ships ensures there probably won't have to be as he decapitates the first and Nikki the second. 7-2 now for 500. 1 round away from winning the half. And Astralis talent, they just look a little bit uncomfortable. They're going to have to rely very heavily, it seems, on their punish pick.
7 on the board here. They locking it in for a decent T-side half here, grabbing themselves some extra. Would be nice.
Bro's 007ing right now.
Oof.
Been a much rougher start for him than it was yesterday. He had a very good vertigo, as did most of the team. That's a very good start for Patty, though. They've not had an opening frag in quite some time. As they look to further their advantage in towards middle, Ships is dinked, he swings the smoke, and Altex seals the deal. Altex doubles up. The massive 2k from him in mid. As Patrick picks up an AWP in response, tries to catch him retreating in towards Donut. But it's not going to happen. And if Rainmaker decides to go forward here, he might just walk straight into a crossfire as Altex spots him. Rainmaker does at least win out that duel. Patrick, another 3v2,
God.
now winnable.
Instantly pulled back right there. Altex, every round that they've won so far, Altex has been good for 2 or more. That's a really scary stat because that requires every single time a multi-frag out of him if they want to get the job done. Well, he's got another multi-frag, but they need to convert the round. They can't afford to lose this one. Again, that would be even more frustration kicking in here. It'd be more worry for the boys over at Astralis Talent, knowing that they made another slight error, just a small mistake, and it's cost them another round. As now, in the 2v3 here, they've doubled up towards B, wisely so. The execution, very quick on the util there from 500 left. On the fly, they're going to move on in. Maybe a boost above the smoke here wouldn't be bad.
Mister catches Patrick, though, leaving Rainmaker in the 1 versus 3. Mister chases him down. Actually will fall, but Bro is good for his first on the board, at least. Hopefully that led some confidence into his playstyle, as it's now a double AWP setup for Astralis Talent. And you know what? I'm not mad about this. I think a double AWP setup is a very effective way to win rounds on a map, especially like Ancient. Christo and Altex to take the mantle. As in fairness, Altex was nutty yesterday when he was on that secondary AWP.
Especially playing that A-bomb site, right? You just want to pluck him there. He'll hold an angle, and he'll probably, land the shots, right? He's not going to miss the easy ones. His mechanics are looking very sharp right now. It's not like he needed an op, though. He's been very good with the rifles at multi-killers. I wonder if that's going to, maybe allow for trade potential. Either way, we'll see if that leads to any long-term success here for Astralis Talent. Certainly enabled them to leave a little bit less resources towards that A bomb site. You can see how passive he's able to play, just kind of scoped in right now. So definitely clear what they're going for here. But Christo taking a peek in towards the B ramp side of things here. Doesn't fully commit.
Oh, it's a committed spray from Mister in middle, though, but he does actually leave the angle unguarded as Ships is allowed to slip into red room. That he might well be in the danger zone too soon, as that's decided to drop a smoke towards the murder hole. 3 players are right behind it. Utah's actually done a pretty good job of delaying for Astralis Talent, but my main issue with that is now they only have 2 flashbangs left. There's a difference between using util to delay and a lack of util discipline. I have a feeling this might come back to bite the Astralis Talent lot. They need to rely solely on their fragging power here. The Saltex goes down to Dennyslaw for the first, and Mister, that's a bit awkward, not even finding a single kill. I mean, 500 have gotten away with not just murder, but a double homicide. Patty does chime on in for a trade, but that's already the safe call for Astralis Talent.
Yeah, very little, unfortunately, gotten out of that double op there. It's the head-to-head there, one out by Dennyslaw, just pulling through with his op. I didn't think that was going to be a big problem there, but Altex might be falling asleep at the wheel there. It's a really tough way to go down. Astralis Talent immediately forced to call in a save here. Money isn't crazy for the T side, so that's, one asset. Gotta run away there, Patrick. This bomb radius is a little bit higher. Christo.
I think he's gonna die.
Yeah, he might. He better hit this shot here. And he does. All good.
Oof. Well, it's not all good, if I'm honest, Cole. It is 8-3. 500 have won the half. It is their map pick after all. But after seeing a 16-8 finish, I believe it was yesterday on Anubis, I'm not massively filled with confidence behind the Astralis Talent boys. think it might even have been a 16-6. But yeah, it was just a rough one to watch. And I'll be honest, I don't want to sit through that again. Astralis Talent, I hope they've gone back to the drawing board, done their homework, because they are using it as a punish pick. And if it worked, it would be a fantastic punish pick to have. It's still a map that a lot of teams aren't confident on. But we'll get to that in a second, as Astralis Talent are yet to lose this first map. There is plenty of time for them to web their way back into things. They've only lost the half for now, but 500 do look very strong, and it has been a team effort.
Yeah, no missing pieces here. You got some really good individual performance coming through from the Alp of Denislaw and Rainwaker as well. But like you had said, there is so many different pieces to this roster. And right now they're going to walk in towards the B-bomb site. That Molly's going to cut them off, but they're already making their way in towards site with a couple of players here. Bro keeps things contained though, and he finds himself another. This is much more like it from Bro. 2 kills to open up the round here. And now Bro looking for another, but he's distracting long enough for ships to get taken down, and Patty is going to drop Denislaw as well. Looked like it was going to be a really promising execute, but they quickly get shut down.
Yeah, it was a very clean and concise effort from Astralis Talent on the B-bomb site there. Not really any criticisms I can make. Bro, good to see that he's finally showed up to the server. He was sitting on 1 kill up until that point, which certainly isn't enough to make him and his squad competitive. Been a lot less of a team effort across the board from Astralis Talent. It's been a little bit of the Altex, Christo, and Patty show, but I say Christo, even he's had his missing shot moments. You said they relied on him for his consistency to hit those easier kills, but unfortunately he's made a couple of grievous errors in this one. The AWP just not entirely landing everything it needs to. The Astralis do land all the utility they need to. Great taking of B lane here, completely locking 500 out behind the double doors, and another smoke will delay them even further. They might have to even be forced into a flash play here. Try and dive through that smoke. But they will wait it out, at least for now, as there's plenty of time on that clock.
No need to rush into things. Smoke eventually fades here, but so will the certain level of aggression. Patty just jiggling now from a deeper angle. I do like this sort of style. Astralis Talent, right? As soon as Patty feels a little bit of pressure, he can start to call over rotations here. It's going to be buying a lot of time, and then they have Mister on the site here ready to deter, but that smoke goes in. They don't see anyone being brought right around the corner just yet. They avoid the HE as well, and now this does leave the side a bit vulnerable here in the 5v5, but oh, Mister straight through the smoke is going to pull things back there, and that's a huge opening.
Oh, Nicky, a lovely shot to trade things back, though. Patty will fall into the 4v4 we go. Sight is in control of 500 at the moment, but they're yet to get the bomb down, and Mister looks to provide a good bit of support. Mister is doing more than supporting. He's the main assault, but Patrick cuts him down, and there's no trade potential. Bro is very late to the party, perhaps a little too late, as Christo's just fallen. And hold on a minute, look at this from Chips. He's in the back lines with the deagle. That's a great shot from Bro, but it won't be the round more importantly, and with that, the economy's still a bit iffy for the CT side. As actually, it's not too much better for the T's, but regardless, they win a lifeline round. And Patrick, no way, finds Bro on the retreat, leaving Eltex to save an AWP in a 1v3. He himself is being sandwiched as 500 find themselves a 9th round on the board. It just has not been looking pretty for Astralis Talent. This isn't the same team we saw show up yesterday.
Definitely not. A little lack of confidence coming through here. And maybe a lack of comfort shown on Ancient as well. 500 not showing any of that. They have the confidence. I think that's been set in since the pistol, right? They lose the 2-on-5. I saw them going for like some uncharacteristic, like just passive plays for a little while there that have lingered in this half. And right there, it flares up again. They're locked out of smokes on the B-bomb site. Thought I had a decent read with Patty, you know, able to deal with that aggression, but Patty didn't really commit to the angle. He didn't really spot much information. He wasn't able to help out any out there. Nicky just dealt with him, so.
Yeah, but Can Astralis deal with the looming threat of potential double digits here for 500? It's a question on my mind right now. Smoke deployed towards A main. Will again keep 500. Well, delayed for a few moments. They hadn't actually reached A main yet, but that is at least the point of call. All smokes remaining for Astralis. Make that 3, apologies. They are at least doing a little better with that util discipline I was mentioning earlier. Will they be afforded to expend them in time, or will it be 500 again running through them? It's another late round here. They're playing it quite slowly as they creep their way into middle. Patrick immediately removed. Nice headshot from Altex. There's Christu. Oh no, that's a terrible shot to be missing. He even sees the shadow. Nicky rips his head straight off. There is another smoke to deny them at least a speedy plant towards 8. And this might actually be enough to still win this round for Astralis Talent. Molotov expended, but there's no one there to receive it. Mister still sits here patiently. Then he slow bags another frag, but Rainwaker is yet to get out onto the site, and Patty finds one more. Rainwaker, though, will actually be shut down by Patty. I was fooled by the camera there for a moment as Denny Slaw left in a 1v2. Taps the plant, but has no idea Patty's around the corner. Still lands a no-scope, but it's 5 on the board for Astralis Talent. Getting a little bit messier than it needed to towards the end, though.
Yeah, they do drop a couple names there, but no big deal. They're able to hold on to the round, and last round of half here, money's not going to be the biggest of factors. In the meantime, here, 500, there are going to be a certain little looming pressures on their economy. Tech9's skills and decent utility once again being brought out, but they can grab themselves 6 here. Of course, it's not going to be an incredibly comforting first half, but it's definitely something you can still work with here. It's not irrecoverable, and we talked about the strength of the T-side players on this team. Do want to give a quick shout out over to partners over at Hellcase. If you're interested in getting in on a $400 giveaway, you can go and check them out. There's a link in the banner. Of course, though, cases do count as a form of gambling, so do be responsible, do be of age. But this round is ensuing here very quickly, and Patty again back with his antics once again, able to deal with the first.
Patty looking to deal with another as he forces the affair to the depths of B lane, but Mr. Catcher ships Chris to Denny's Law. And this is just a much better performance from the likes of Astralis Talent. Having said that, though, ooh, that's rough from Patrick. Baits out some shots, but it's not from the AWP, and Patty just keeps holding left click as Dicky gets obliterated by the AWP there. The fuse will come in, and that will at least be 6 on the board. Double digits are denied. And maybe there is still some hope for Astralis Talent on their opponent's map pick. With that resurgence towards the end and what we saw from them on their T-sides yesterday, I'm quietly confident that we will continue to have a very close series.
Definitely not, unworkable here. They've given themselves 6. They've given themselves a little bit of room to work with here, but they're going to need a whole lot more where that came from. Bring that same energy to the T side here, that same success. Take a look at those 1x bet odds there. Astralis Talent still a little bit behind here, 3.45. You can go and check that out at cct.gg/1xbet. Into the action here, second half of play, kicking things off in 500. They have 4 players stacked over towards A at the start of the pistol, and 5 players for Astralis Talent inching their way forward in this direction.
Oh, as the util starts to rain on down, 500 should be well aware of what's to come. They're not really cleaning that many angles on the Astralis Talent side. Nicky ships, Rainmaker ships again for more as Mister doubles up on the clock, but it's him in a 1v3. Switches to the USP, but Chips doesn't give a damn. Spins round the corner, spins his jaw, and that's 10-6 to 500. It's a rocky start in the pistol for Astralis as they lose 2 now. Definitely should have won the first one on their T side, but they don't, and they let things spiral. Will this be allowed to continue as 500 already have an A1S purchased on in? With the denial of a bomb plant, Astralis Talent, they're looking rather worse for wear.
Yeah, not the way they wanted to kick off the second half. They just walked into a stack straight up. Right, all the utility that they tossed in, it was promising, but it's not going to do anything when you have a 3-player crossfire in 3 different directions and probably a 4th in Donut. I know Donut was smoked off, but you can just push past it if you have 4 teammates close by. Very, very well called out by 500, doing the prep work and able to deal with that soundly. little bit of aggression here coming through. A distraction pulled in and just one jump coming through. And now the flashbang follows up. We might have another interesting round on our hands here as Cristo lands a headshot, putting some pressure on them. More headshots ringing through from the Glock and another kill. What is happening right now? At the very least, a bomb plant. Anything else would be dreamy, but Glock bursts in. He knew his days were numbered. My God, the 500, that was not what they wanted out of that round.
Yeah, Nicky almost went down as well there. That was a panicked defense from 500. As that would have been the, I want to say, 5th full eco round I've seen come through in the past 2 weeks, which again shouldn't be happening. You should not be winning your full eco rounds, nor really getting 2 kills and a bomb plant. That's exactly what Astralis talent do. That gives them a buy and a pretty healthy one of that. It's 500. You need to avoid saying bye-bye to their chances at a 12th here. They want to double the round count of Astralis talent, and they still look fairly steady to do it. Denny Slaw's back on the AWP. It's only Nicky holding on to a FAMAS, but he's got full util behind him. I'd argue that with that AWP, 500 still have the advantage in this one, but maybe not so much as the util rains on in towards the A bomb site. Flashes are perfect. Not a chance in hell for Denny Slaw to catch anything, as Ships does still catch one amidst the carnage. That further smoke means Bro spots 2 towards the back of Temple. Rainmaker sits patiently in Donut, waiting for that util to disperse as he tries to disperse some Astralis talent players with a nade of his own. Great damage to Christo, but it won't be the kill. This is still a very messy spray from the CT player there, as both players in that engagement make a bit of a meal out of it. Patrick forced on forward, and it is pandemonium here, Exner.
I don't know if they're going to even attempt this at this point. They've just lost another player here. That might be enough to call it curtains. Yeah, they're going to fall off. Call to save here. And now Denislaw, he's put in a position where he can't even escape safely. And able to turn the corner in time there. No big worries, but that's a very strong opening gun round right there. 2 kills from Patty. He's looking to give him the extra edge, but 2 more go down right there to the bomb. Not a lot of money there being built from the T side with 4 alive. Only 2 end up staying alive there, unfortunately for them. And that is going to be 500 winning or Astralis talent rather, winning a really strong gun round. Maybe a little bit sour towards the tail end. With these saved rifles here, they will be able to get continuation on the investment. The buys, the rifles, held on to here once again. This becomes a very decisive round here in the series.
Yeah, if Astralis talent are able to take this one over the line, then they're well within the parameters of a comeback. 500 catch it though. They extend their lead back to 5. And crumble the economy of that T side. That's the second egregious miss we've seen from an Orca on that angle now. But Chips, he's here to pick up at least one of the pieces. Christo slaps it straight back out of his hand as he dives out first. He was just a distraction. That's gorgeously done. Christo continues to charge through a Molotov, and Nicky, he's got no idea. I love that from Christo. Proactivity at its finest, as Patrick now is left in a 1 versus 4. So much space is taken. The trades are so clean. And that is a monster round there from the youngsters on Astralis talent. They are right back into this game, Exner.
We talked about it here, but we're fully anticipating these T sides to be strong, right? We can see some of the individuals showing up as well. Patty in the last round. This time around, it's Christo with the rifle, not even the op. Doing excellent work here. Now it's all about saving as many guns as possible, doing some good exit damage here. Patrick gonna find one. And good discipline not to repeat right there, but in doing so, he's only gonna walk away with an MP9
Might get the
gun somewhere. There it is. AK found over towards Donut. So not completely empty-handed, but still Astralis talent clawing their way back. And like I said, that was a decisive round here because that puts 500 on eco. Astralis talent could probably coast up to 9 here. Relatively easy outside of the AK here from Patrick. He could do some damage, but barring that, they're going to have very little investment.
Again, I'm still scared every time we say that because it makes us look all the more silly when the full USP buy just goes on and wins the round anyway. It has been a strange 2 weeks. I think I'm still hallucinating, honestly. Every time it comes through, it leaves me absolutely flabbergasted. As Patrick looks to leave a mark with that Hero AK, it certainly could deal some significant damage, but Astralis talent even more so if they waltz over towards this B bomb site defended only by Nicky on a USB. They managed to overwhelm with just the Glocks. Imagine what they can do with 4 AKs and an AWP with a stack of util behind them. Any Slaw does chime on in to help now. And this is where I start to get a little bit worried. The Hero AK makes its way over. There's a 4-man B bomb site stack here. And I have a feeling Astralis Talent are going to commit. 2.74 to the 1.46 of the current odds, as there is now a 4-man B lane push stacked up. Mister, and a dink in the midst of all of it. Patty a frag, Altex another. And it's Chips and Rainwaker, rather AK-less at the moment, as they lose their lives in the process. Rainwaker may as well just run on in, try and bag something for his troubles. But Astralis Talent will avert my worries. So, hey, it's a 9th on the board. We're back to some semblance of normality here.
Yep, flawless. Anti-eco, Rainwaker. Only a USP here, just trying to save on to a bit of KD, maybe find an exit. But outside of that, nothing too crazy gonna really be brought into this round here. Nice little jiggle from Mister at the beginning of that round. Turning that corner is always a big risk. Every time you do so, almost goes down to the bomb. Is there a gun that he can find somewhere? I don't know. Gotta be like very quick. He's just hiding. He's not doing anything with the USP. But again, saving onto that KD, you know, whatever. Sure, why
Hey,
not?
those $300 could make all the difference if he dies to an AK. Better safe than sorry. It's not like you won't get any money if you don't die on the CT side. No, but of course, he probably should have run a little bit faster. I do agree with you there. There was an AK-3 for him on the B ramp, I think it was. And dropped over by his teammate at the start of the round. Christo looks to drop somebody early here, but hold on a minute. Patrick, very fast towards the edge of Jaguar there. Be mollied off, though. So again, it is a 4-man stack towards B and Astralis Talent. Well, they're yet to really play their hand, but I think they are just ready and raring to run up the ramp. Very little util left for the CT side, but Nicky, if he goes a bit further around the corner, will have a gap in the smoke, but Mister puts a gap in Nicky's forehead. Denny Slaw, though, doubles up on the defense.
It's a brilliant defense from Dennis Law, but they are getting run down here. Luckily, he does have help. Big time. Now dancing in between the flames here. Altex is next up on ramp, and we know what he's capable of. That HE sinks in, but oh, Patrick was right around the corner. I thought he was over in towards the other side of that wall, but no. Completely blowing my mind there, and certainly surprising the offense as Christo and Altex look to recover. Altex down to just a measly 5 HP, but the op can do some heavy lifting here.
Spots Patrick, doesn't pull the trigger though. Had a chance to bring it back to a 2v2, but Altex, he's on 5 HP right now. Wisely gives Christo the AK. Hold on a minute. Altex boosted up, will be traded. 1v2 here. Winnable. Isolated Jules, but they just set themselves up a crossfire. Molotov does little to disposition, but Christo in a 1v3 clutch sprays down both of them on the double swing. That is gorgeous stuff from Christo, showing up exactly when needed. And that is double digits for Astralis. They deny 500 anything on the guns.
Hey, that is something you just can't afford to lose right there. A 1v3 from Christo. And that's going to allow them to potentially even tie things up right now. Astralis Talent, like we have been just constantly saying, just never out of a game here, pulling things back. The mental resiliency coming through here on the T side is absolutely incredible. They should have been down and out of that round, but they stand tall. Ship's good for one. But there's no one else here really to help on this bomb site. They might desperately move through the smoke as their last chance, but now the molly is met by them, and oh, Christo gonna burn down another. What a round right now. Collapses in. Patrick passed the smoke, but Christo has coverage. He's gonna do it again. He's doing so much work. Molly gets recycled in towards the top of, or the back of default, and so diligent here, so careful. Astralis Talent, they don't need to rush the bomb plant. Instead, they can land these kills first things first. Let this flank formulate here. Hello, says Mister, and goodbye quickly to any chance at 500 winning this round here. 500, allowing Astralis Talent to tie things up now.
Great Beatles song, Say Goodbye Hello. Check it out if you haven't already. There's Nicky, Looks to check out maybe a drop weapon. Scout, I suppose, is better than nothing. Yeah, this half-buy probably didn't go as well as 500 would have liked. I think 3 kills would have been a benchmark, but that is a very clean one-tap from Christu. Outmaneuvering the scope weapon, out-aiming it at range 2, and that's an equalised scoreline as Astralis talent. Well, they had a poor start to the game, but they are having an impeccable continuation on their T side. 500 have been stunted completely. Will they finally be able to win out a gun round here and save themselves from being overtaken?
And they peel up against the aggression here towards the middle. Patty just walks out, lands an opening pick, but that's stunning from Patrick. Putting down Chris, who's been such a heavy hitter, but of course, Altec stands beside them. There's so many different names here that you have to fear on Astralis talent. And they're all showing up in the server right now.
Oh, I love it. The bells start chiming for a very important swing round here. If 500 are able to pull this one over the line, then they buy themselves a lifeline. Astralis talent, unlimited money effectively behind them as they start pushing back towards the A bomb site. And funnily enough, that's an A bomb site with absolutely 0 defenses. 500 are still worried about middle. They're mollying down towards the boxes as the smokes they rain on over.
Oh no, smoke missed.
Yeah, it's missed, but it will still cut off vision from CT, but unfortunately that's not really the problem. Hold on a minute, Altix! Don't clear a corner with a Molotov! Dennis Law gets 2 for free of Patrick! He finds a headshot onto Mister. Massive round for 500, they keep themselves alive and in the lead, and whilst their economy is not the best, they do at least get some breathing room.
I think they lost that round 100% because of the donut smoke. Just an awkward bounce coming through there. Bit shocking. Astralis talent had a lot going in the 3v3. Like you had said there was no one really on that bomb site. They were able to quickly rotate in because of a slight delay in aggression. No delay in aggression here from ships. Oh my god. 2 nasty openers right there are going to kick this round off in very strong fashion here in favor of 500. Ship's not too happy with a little resurgence that's been taking place here as of recent. He wants to shut things down.
Well, Christu tries to avoid things from being shut down any further, but unfortunately misses the preliminary shot. Nicky round the corner has missed to fumble everything in his portfolio. The corner will not be cleared properly. Big kill from Nicky. Christo. Okay, that's a nice nose code. We'll give him that. But Ships from the back lines find another. Christo, hello. 90-degree readjustment. Now needs to find the bomb. And he's done a 1v2. In fact, no, he has done a 1v3, but he did have a teammate alive to trade off the back of for the first one. And as he makes noise here, Dennis Law might just have heard the water. Holds the angle. Pulls down the round, and with that, pulls a 2-round deficit into play for Astralis. 13-11. They can afford another buy here, but this time, if Astralis lose, that's where things start to get increasingly troublesome. That's 14 for 500 if they do.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure put on this round here. Everyone's going to buy down as much as possible, down to 0. And we're going to see, the winner of this get a chance here, especially if you're 500, maybe to grab even map point here. But it's been a labored effort here on their own map pick, right? Astralis Town have proved themselves to be, worthy of a team we can't count out just yet. But now 500 as of recent, looking strong.
Bro has 4 kills, Cole.
Yes.
That's not very good. Apologies. I just noticed that, and that is a shocker. Bro has been completely absent. They need him to start showing up right now. He was so good on the entries yesterday. I don't know what's happened here.
Well, they had a rough go of things. Like you said, though, he's definitely a big influence. I mean, Altex has been picking up the entries a little bit here in his stead. You've had some nice work from Patty here as well. So we'll see if, that can continue, right? Or do
I
we
feel
need to see
like
Bro take it the extra element to get past this one?
I feel like Bro is the win condition here for Astralis Talent. If he shows up, they've been doing pretty well 4v5, but if they go 5v5, that's a big advantage. As Batty loses the advantage, Bro dies again without a kill, Ships finds another, and I think 500 are tired of toying with their food on this map. It's their pick. They're starting to show why. Astralis Talent had a nice bit of resurgence as 500 fumbled for a stable economy, leaving Christu now, 1v5. Yes, he's had a 1v3. This is just a huge step further. He might be rocking Flash Gaming stickers, but he'll also be dead in a flash as Patrick strings the corner. And that's a 14th round on the board. They are but 2 away from closing their pick, and Astralis Talent might want to take an eco here and play for overtime.
It's a tough position to be in for any team, but they got to call it. Going in for a little bit of an investment here. A couple of Eagles. Hoping that they could do some work, but 500 looking like they could coast. The 15th here. What do we got in store? A little bit of aggression. Oh, X. Can't get his crosshair trained in time, and it's going to double down on the advantage. Down to 1 HP for poor Patrick, but he's quite happy taking down Patty.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Eagles here, especially with that kill from Denny. Christu and Bro, 2v5. Bro still sits on 4 measly frags. And he's about to get timinged as well. 34 HP on him. It ain't looking too... Oh, okay. That was hot. That was spicy. Bye-bye, Ships. Maybe a weapon retrievable here, but unlikely still the round. They just don't look too healthy. They're not looking too great right now on the Astralis side.
Wipe. These Deagle shots are a bit scary. Patrick's down to 1 HP as well. But the backs are turned. And Bro, he's down rather low as well. Those shots. Oh, they do come back. Immediately, Patrick just instantly turns the corner there and fires back. I like that a lot. We'll finish the job, and now it's going to be 15 here. Map point. 500. Stringing things together to close.
I don't know how that first bullet misses, if I'm honest with you. Looked like it was on the edge of his back, but regardless. CSGO hitboxes will always continue to baffle and amuse me. As it is now, 4 in a row required, as you mentioned, for Astralis Talent to make their comeback part 2. They've already equalised the scoreline before, even surged ahead a little. As they look to surge onto this A bomb site, it is completely undefended. But hold on a minute, the bomb is going towards B. They're trying to sell an elaborate fake here, but they might have just shot themselves in the foot. Nicky catches Mister. The bomb is still alone towards B here. The execution continues, but Ships and Rainwaker execute Christo and Altix where they stand. Those are 2 of the more prominent players on the server here. Patty bursts his way over to B, needs to get that bomb down, and needs Bro to stay alive, but he might not be afforded as such. It's a good spray transfer, not enough for the frag, and the bomb will go down on B, but it's a 1v4 for Patty. Yes, he's been good this game already, but I don't know if he's ready for a 1v4 just yet. Ships, looking into his crosshairs, might even be the one to deal the killing blow, not quite now a 1v3.
A lot of low HP bars here as well. A lot of low HP bars. No one's turning their attention towards ramp now. Patty almost does it all. Rainwaker will put an end to things right there at the last second, but Patty made it so possible. It's a little bit of heartbreak there for Astralis Talent. But they showed some resiliency. They've showed some strength. Now, like you had said here, they hop into Anubis, and they did the same thing yesterday. But the difference was they didn't look that good. It was a little bit worrisome here in terms of the individuals. Anubis was a huge liability in that last series and almost cost them. And if they don't show any sort of depth, any sort of strength here, they might be looking at a defeat here today.
Yeah, and also we have to remember, they obviously won the first map. They won their opponent's pick, and they look like they definitely could have taken it here against 500, but they were pipped to the post. I mean, it was Admittedly, up until that 11-11 scoreline, a very, very contested affair, and they probably should have won that last round as well, but the bomb doing something fancy eventually makes it all crumble, and they're not accounting for the rear flank, so things fall to pieces. Very nice comeback from the gunmate there for 500, as the Bulgarians prove why they are here in the semis, as they look to finally put a stop to the massive upset team that is this mischievous Academy lineup. But before we get into that second map, we are going to throw things to a short break here. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with you in just a couple of minutes. See you all then for the map of Anubis.
very complicated job, but I love simple things so much. One move. One push. One touch. One love. One click. One X-bet.
Are you sick of just opening cases? Join the events! At each event you can find special cases from which tokens fall. Tokens are your ticket into a world of unique awards. For tokens, you can buy a skin, premium, or special balance. Try your luck in the skin generator. Also, you can leave your tokens at the token vault, and the more tokens you keep, the better skin you'll get. Add variety to opening cases with Hellcase.
The hunger for glory feeds the desire, the courage to look for a challenge, to feed your ambitions. To reach for greatness. To become the champion of champions.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back again to our second semi-final. You're still watching Astralis Talent versus the likes of 500, but 500 have surged ahead. They take their own map pick fairly convincingly come the end of it. I believe a 16-11 scoreline as Astralis Talent. They do a good job in the middle of the game, but things are just a bit too far out of reach for them at the end of it. And with that, we go on to Anubis, where they look to, well, I guess, wield their punish pick as an offensive weapon and try and get themselves back to an even scoreline and continue their miracle run.
Yeah, yesterday I wasn't really sold on this being like a perfect punish pick, and they looked really strong on some of the more comforting maps. So I'm wondering if that's going to once again flare up here as a bit of an issue here for Astralis Town. Are they going to show the strengths that they didn't quite fully formulate over on that series yesterday? This was where they got the map loss in, and believe it or not. So they went for it. They trust in the game plan, but the question is it for good reason, or is it going to cost them again? Now, what I saw yesterday was they had a couple CT side rounds they could have won, right? You remember that like 10-second defuse that they went for? They probably should have won that round.
Yeah.
They probably should have got off to a little bit of a better start there on the CT side, and I think that they knew that haunted them, and so I think that's why they're very much so willing to pick back into this one. If they can clean up a little bit of those small details, a little bit of those awkward retakes, especially their CT side in general. They had a day to talk about things. They had a little bit of time here, although I don't know about how much time they had, really. We'll see if they can bring in some more energy on Anubis.
I mean, yeah, they had a morning of Counter-Strike here as well, and it was a pretty late shift for them last night. They've had a busy couple of days. Their third best of 3 in probably 12 hours? No, in about 18 hours, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say 16 or so when they ended. Ooh.
Hello, that's a nice start. Patia Swift trade. 4 versus 4 ensues rather swiftly, but hold on a minute. Is this double dual Berettas? 4 guns on 2 people? As Bro strikes first, Mickey retaliates. Patty, it's a risky swing. He's on his own, but then he does fall to it. Great flashbang, Nicky. No idea where he is. The ships has snuck into the back lines, but it is a 1v3.
And quickly dispatched over right there. Nice pistol. Going on through. Absolutely beautiful right there. With the pistols and with the flashes there, you can see You know, very similar to what was being done to them yesterday, where they take this mid control aggressively, or at least this was what Centers was doing versus Astralis Town. They were taking a lot of that aggressive mid control there, and like using that as a way to get extra space in towards B. They tried that same thing there, 500, but this time met with a little bit more resistance, a little quicker on the rotates. Maybe that's a good sign of what's to come.
Well, speaking of speed, Patty is sped on down by Rainmaker and Nikki. Goes blow for blow as Altex now has quite the responsibility. His teammates are dropping like flies around him, but hold on a minute, Bro is here to deliver. One of Astralis' heroes on Anubis yesterday is Patrick. He's to be a hero in this 1 versus 2. Anticipates the swing around the corner from Mister here. Really well read. Decides to elevate his angle, but his crosshair adjusts a moment too soon as he rounds towards the archers. Mister rounds him out of things, and that will be a second on the board to Astralis Talent. Now, they got 3-0 yesterday, which then led them to losing 7 rounds in a row off the back of what should have been a 5-2 scoreline. If they can stave that off again, their CT side will look significantly more promising, Cole. I reckon they just need to get over that hump, get rid of the haunts, and this should still be a fairly solid defensive map for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree, right? Get over the awkwardness in your CT side. They've been able to get another strong pistol. They've led it into a little bit of an awkward force by punish, but they get the job done, right? They deny a bomb plant, anything like that. So, what matters most here is that they continue giving themselves some CT-sided rounds, because they didn't give themselves a lot of wiggle room in that second half to like show the strength that this T side actually does have. I think that's a key distinction here. What we need to see out of these guys.
Oh, Dennis Law, we need to see an opening frag, that's for sure, if they want any hope in this round. But instead, it's a laboured spray from Patty. But he deals again with Patrick. And Bro chimes in for one more. What was it that I called him yesterday? A fraternity participant?
Attendee.
Attendee. Well, he's certainly attending this map a lot sooner than he did the previous. He's already found 5 kills. I believe he had a total of 6 on the other map. Now that should already be filling him with a little confidence. Chips, confident in his own abilities with the dekill as he should be. Bags 1 to the tally, but that probably is all they're going to get on the 500 side. I mean, they do have an open A bomb site. He does have 30 seconds to play with. Maybe we can see a miracle come through here as Patty could fluff his line. He's quite low. And no way are they giving Chips A here.
Nope.
No, they're not. Okay, great shot from Patty.
Thought they were. For just a split second, I thought they were going to give him a bomb site there. It would have been a huge problem. But able to avoid that reality there. Nicely done. 3-0. But of course, the first gun round coming through here from 500 to the first test. Flying in for Astralis Talent here, really. We'll see what they have in store.
Now, Cole, we have been calling this map a punish pick, and I might have to get back to that in a second because Mister has just taken full Canal's control on the CT side, and Rainmaker is watching for him. He is anticipating something like this could be coming on into play. His ships takes a nice bit of damage there, but they have left the B-bomb site a little understaffed. Ships in towards middle, spots a player in Patty. As Patty gets a very clean kill there. Great reaction speeds. Another bonus of having such young talent. The reaction times are as yet unaffected by age, as Danny Slaught is heavily affected by Altex. Great defensive round from Astralis Talent here. 5 versus 3. And I've already forgotten the point I was trying to make.
Punish picks.
Punish
Does
picks.
that ring a bell?
That's the one. As Patrick could still punish Patty here. He's lost 2 jewels to him so far. He would like to get a 1-up on him, but that will be denied as he doesn't clear his corners. It's a messy round for 500. This was a full buy round, remember? And Astralis have already gotten over that 4th round hurdle unless Rainmaker can do something immaculate.
Yeah, a little 1v5 action. Found the second piece of the puzzle here. A couple kills at the very least, making things not so easy, but 20 seconds left. He's going to call it. Give it over a save. And that's not really certain, right? You're not going to 100% save here. They are closing in on you. And Bro's going to take him down before he can ever run away with anything. 4-0. Like you said, getting over that 4th round hurdle. And this is much more confident here. I like this from Astralis talent. They're actually taking some map control. Something that we talked about yesterday was the reason this map's so T-side is a lot of teams struggle to figure out a way to get a CT side opening advantage, an opening pick, or just map control in general. Well, right there, just taking full control of water. That's you know, the exact way to do it right there. They find so many different players trying to contact in as well, so 500, they might need to come up with a more coordinated game plan here up against the likes of Astralis talent.
Well, they do coordinate themselves over towards the A-bomb site at least, but for the first time in a while, Astralis have a 3-man stack towards it. They appear to have read this one perfectly. Ultex, great timing on the molly, expends further util as Ultex expends Patrick. Patrick again going down early doors as one of the first to fall as Ultex fells another 2. Then Slaw finally chimes back in with, I suppose, a defensive kill at that point, but Bro gets one with a nade, follows up with the rifle, and that is a glorious 5th on the board for Astralis. But back to the point I tried to make before the action picked on up. I suppose we could call this a punish pick from Astralis talent, but then we look at the map pool of 500. They played this map 5 times and have only won it on a single occasion. This is Astralis' 14th outing on Anubis. It's actually their 2nd most played map in the past 3 months, and they have a decent 46% win rate on it. And if you look at the map pools of these 2 teams, this is honestly the most reasonable choice. So yesterday, definitely a punish pick, but today I think this is actually just the best map they could have picked against 500 as their own, as Inferno, our decider, is statistically the best map for 500.
Yeah, that was the thing that we were you know, kind of discussing here. Like, what was the avenue for Astralis Town to go for, right? Inferno, maybe you pick into your own strengths, you don't worry about your opponent's strengths, but that's even a liability. We know how strong this team is on overpass as well, so I do agree with you. I think Anubis might have been one of their only options, and they had some time. They figured out maybe some of the weaknesses. That looks what we're seeing right now, but finally, there's a little bit of relief here for 500 as they find themselves into a 5v3, and a lot of map control here is granted. Now, will they use it? Will they be able to take it? That free real estate towards middle is still established. That they could maybe move on into flank this B side here. In the meantime, a little flanking maneuver towards A, but the execution's tossed in, and they're a little bit disjointed.
Yeah, Rainmakers has found another kill as well. Mr. does a fantastic job, and Bro brings us back to a 2v2. A 5v2 turned 2v2, and the bomb is dropped right in Mr.'s sightline. Not always the AWP on this team. It's normally Christo's job, but he's out of the round right now. Danny thought,
smoke this off.
Might well be 2, you're right. There is a smoke here for the T side, but a Molotov on top of the bomb could well delay things further. Time is ticking here, and that is perfectly placed util from Astralis talent. Big nade as well, keeps Danny slow packing. As Bro, he's been bought enough time on the flank. The head is still showing. That is an amazing play from Astralis talent. And Mr. will charge on through, bags the frag, chips are sent backing, and that's an ace between Mr. and Bro.
Bro's certainly come to play this map here. It seems like it's his domain. And he has taken so many names right there. Mr. as well. Not even the opera, but he certainly can wield it effectively. They just peeked into him one by one. They tried to trade him out, and he got away with so much right there. So excellent job coming through there from boys over at Astralis Talent, keeping that 0 in the back of 500's mind. 5-on-2 right there as well.
Yeah, that was just such a nice round for Astralis talent to take. I feel like in the mindset they had yesterday, they would have let that slip away, but they are so damn promising right now. Bro is 10-1, by the way. Bro has a 10 KD, just to point things out. Christo is yet to find a kill. Hopefully the AWPer is allowed a bit of free reign on this map. It is a map that I feel like a lot of primary AWPers are still struggling to adjust to. Especially on that CT side, they haven't quite got the rotations down. Haven't quite got the angles measured out, but 500 yet to measure out around here as Astralis have already found 6 on a map that is very decided. Bro A 12 KD, nearly 13, will eventually be put in his grave, but Mr. A great Molotov. Will he expect to Mac 10 up this close? Yes, he will find another. Last alive is Ships, and it's a 1v4 with a Tech 9. Not gonna happen. Patsy baiting in shots as Christu bags a frag on a Tech 9, and that's 7-0 to Astralis.
Nice and tidy around there. Continues. Able to deal with the aggressive nature here, 500, but right now they are stalled out. Nothing going their way. Astralis Town continue to lock things down in incredible fashion. This is much more like you here. Again, I kind of come into this one talking about how they just needed a wake-up call here on Astralis Town. The CT side, it had some legs to it, but they were getting run down. They were getting executed on. They were getting dealt with in that first map versus Sinners. Nothing was really going their way. They also had to deal with Oscar, who was dropping 30 on him in like 20 rounds or less. So, to be fair, that was another struggle that they faced. This time around, there's no huge individuals popping up here on the server for 500 just yet. And in the meantime, the opposite is true for Astralis Talent.
Astralis Talent, again displaying prominently why talent's in their name. The raw mechanical skill alone is fantastic, and Ships does a good job at watching the flank here. This is a solid chance at around the 500. Bomb is down. Denny's Law, another crucial frag collected. Until rains on down from the defensive team. They try and retake the bomb site, try and get themselves some wriggle room, as Mr. might have just found it, but Rainmaker is yet to reveal his position behind the pillar. Denny's Law on the site itself is watching towards the heaven angle, and Astralis Talent might be willing to let this one slip through their fingers. Might be ready for the save call as Mr. will be tagged on down. Ships is finally removed though. Rainmaker in the trade doubles up. He's just broke in the 1v2 and there simply isn't enough time. Does get another frag to Metallic, but he will be forced to scramble. A 7 KD though. Can't be too displeased with that. But will not catch Denny's Law. And they do at least keep an AWP on their backs on the 500 side. First round on the board. Not the cleanest of rounds, only a single player surviving. But it's a round nonetheless.
Yeah, that's a impressive shot to close things off as well. But like you said there, you finally win a round. Oh man, it required a lot out of Rainmaker right there. That's some sharp shooting from him. Dennis Law to cap things off with a nice kill. We'll take down all the Astralis Talent members. But there's a lot of money to reinvest here for them. That's not a big deal. They'll get a good purchase back once again. They call a timeout immediately to make sure that they don't lose their momentum. Or at least they don't give over too much to 500 here. That's a huge detail. As once they started losing here on the CT side, it was like, you know, a drought of rounds followed.
Yeah, there was a pretty big drought, wasn't there? Fitting for a map built in the desert, I suppose. They do have the Nile behind them, as Astralis have been fairly easily floating down this river of success they've built themselves. Patty successfully taking mid-control early. Nicely done with Bro in tandem. Ships does go for a cheeky spray, and oh, that's a big frag for Ships to find. Patty immediately trades onto Denny, though. Nice push towards the bridge. As mid-control has been given back on over. Patty still fights for it, but Mr. lobs in a nade as Christu chucks a frag into the mix. 500 being blended up here as Mr. might well be dispositioned if he's not careful. Dark is still a point of contention. 2 down there, ready to push on through. Patrick has a Mac 10. Could well out jump the AWP in Christu. Astralis still have swung the balance of this round back into their favor despite losing that opening frag.
It's a good turnaround here, but for a rude awakening against Christo if he's not careful. Doesn't get punished for it though. And he has a teammate close by there. Mr. and Christo, the 1-2 punch. It's just Ships left. I've been spotted there on the jiggle. Mr. just swings for the fences there, gets his molly off. It's a wide swing to finish the job. 8-1, immediately responding. And because 500 only won a round with 1 surviving, yeah, they're on the T side. Yeah, they got max loss bonus, but they don't have a lot of money to reinvest here, so they're probably going to have to call another half-buy, save situation. again, and this is going to give them even more range here on this map.
Yeah, they got max loss bonus, but they got max losses as well. Money is going to be tight. They do go for a hero AK on ships here, but the rest of the squad have gone for an effective half bite. Astralis, so they might just be buying time. Already winning out that first half with a ridiculous 8-1 scoreline on the CT side as well, on the most T-sided map in the pool. Nicky starts to fragging quite strongly with a Tech 9, but his bro had missed it to immediately respond. Denny Slaw is cut off by the molly. That nade is brutal. Mister is too. I mean, how can you not be brutal with a $60,000 to $80,000 sticker on the stock of your AK? On the grip, sorry. He's just flexing on them at this point. The ships does respond with his hero AK, but still a man disadvantage. And how does ships actually get here, is my question. He's just burst his way in through middle, it seems. Are they still accounting for him? No, they're not. They know he's behind them. We've given him a free AWP if he wants one. Bro, is he at least watching the site? No. He's just slipped into canals, and both of them have their backs turned here.
What is going on here? Discounted the position in ships. Trips 2 right there. Altex making noise on his rotate as well. Denny's Law. He's probably heard something, right? He's heard something. Okay, yeah. I was about to say, if you would have just dropped right on in, that would have been disaster here, but it is still disaster looming. Ships doesn't contain the spray, though. Altex, you could be the man for the job here. It's quick running in from Denny's Law towards that bomb site. Altex will soon realize that the number's now punched in towards the opposite side of the map. It's a long way there, and it's going to allow Denny's Law to post up in any position he chooses. He goes over in towards a rotation. Connector and CT spawn. Denny's Law, yeah, he's going to hear all these footsteps, and it's planted for him as well.
Oh my goodness, Denny. There is no way he wins that round with a one-tap. Altex, a valiant effort, does deal with the rifleman, but the pistol's too overpowering, and finally 500.2. What a mess of a round here, though. So they realise that shit is in the back lines, and then they don't account for him. Just walk behind them. It makes no sense from Astralis talent here. That is such a huge oversight, and Denny actually takes a body shot there from Altex. Nearly still unable to win the round. Again, a testament to Altex's skill. But they go for a cheeky run boost early doors here for Astralis talent. Won't net them much, though, as it appears in middle of the point of contact 500 are going for. That was a hero AK round for 500. Finally gets some further presence on the board. Still, though, Astralis talent lead by 4 times the round of their opposition. It is a long, long way to both recovery and redemption at this point. As ships, that's a very redeeming opener.
Remember, I mean, just some really tough rounds lost in their last series on this map. And that was what I kind of gathered out of that last round, right? Just a slight error in communication, blind spot there, big time. And it could topple the CT side. The money is not there for them to lose this round. They need to make sure they hold on to this one. Ship's attention turned 2 different directions, but Altex is flushed out of this A position. He's confirmed in a more passive position. So that's going to complicate the defense here just a little bit, but Altex, he's so sharp. He will land himself another kill. Nicky has the flank cut off there, and he gets cut as well. Altex taken down. Mr. left to save on this round, and 500 are starting to build slowly back into this one.
Now, as soon as that bomb heads over to A, they'll find themselves a third, but are they overreading this? No. Okay, bomb will be heading over in that direction. They've got mid-control as well. They're cutting off rotations and missed it. Just need to chill and save that A1S. But I think my biggest criticism of 500 from the previous round is Altex almost wins that clutch. And if it hadn't been a one-tap from the Tech 9, he would have. However, I think it was Denny Slaw and Ships in the 2 versus 1? If they'd have just swung together, i.e. if one person had just jumped off the bridge and Ships had swung from dark, that would have made the round significantly easier and cleaner. But they do play it out the long way. And honestly, get very lucky. It should have been 9-2 to Astralis there off the back of Altex's clutch. But no, it doesn't come on through that way. 500 pull through for a third round on the board. They have lost the half, but they're not losing sight of a potential 7 here, as it's now Astralis talent fluffing their lines.
They're becoming a bit worrisome here. I mean, still it's a winning half, and we have seen the real strengths out of Astralis talent a little bit on that T side. They showed us a decent bit of depth. I think it was 16-8. A lot of those rounds were won on the T side. It was, you know, what we were kind of joking about is a slight comeback effort there coming through, but never really formulated. Sinners didn't allow that. Now, I wonder if a winning half is going to be enough. That should, you know, put a lot of confidence in their second half, but they do want to walk away with something extra, right? Especially if they don't want to concede all this momentum. It's Denny's Law doing the same thing that Oscar did yesterday, just dealing with that aggression. This round, you kind of understand it. It's just pistols. So they're trying to get a bit cheeky, but always covering that smoke right there, making sure no funny business comes through from Astralis talent.
I mean, my biggest gripe for Astralis talent yesterday is they only got 2 rounds on their T side, and they allowed Sinners to get 7 on that CT. So, as much as this is a T-sided map, and yes, Astralis are typically fairly good at that offensive side, they only got 2 yesterday, and that's obviously not enough to win out this series. Now, 500 have effectively been given another one here. Ships deals with Patty, Christu goes down to Rainwaker, and Christu's having a horrible game right now. He's 3-7. He swapped places with Bro as he top ranks 15-6. Yeah, with Astralis talent letting a couple more of these rounds slip on by them, if they can afford themselves double digits here, I think all will be forgiven, but that's still a far cry away, especially with their current economic woes and their just inability to cling on to these latter stage rounds. Great adaptive playstyle from 500, it seems.
It's good work being done so far. They didn't give themselves a lot of room to work with yesterday. First Astralis talent losing a lot of those gun rounds on the CT side, right? I think that haunted them. But right now, you know, with a winning half at the very least, see if they can do some damage. Christo, like I said, not having the best game, but he's had a really good round that bailed him out. So maybe that can re-inspire a little bit of confidence here alongside that, and we can start to talk about them getting their heads back in this game. Still a while, though, to go. 500 starting to build into this little foundation being found on this T side. Can they continue to string things forward, though? No hop in Christo's hands here, held on to. So the fun won't start yet for him, potentially. 4 players stacked over towards A early on.
Yeah, Astralis talent, they try and read into this one, and they might have done a good job of it, but Denny's Law does better, almost a second frag there. Mister, it's a solid trade, and his forward positioning, it's likely going to be anticipated by Rainwaker here. But that is a tough angle to clear, especially with a left angle peek. Mister, though, put those nades away, young man. Too many times have I seen Astralis talent fumble with nades and get picked off because of it. Patty, big frag. Nikki, bigger trade. B bomb site now completely open. And Bro has an insurmountable task on his hands. A 2v1. Hold on a minute. The bomb is on the other side of the map. This could be pushed on by Christu, but Bro fully blinded in a bit of a sore spot right now. Astralis talent, they need to group up. Asta 500 for that matter. They have no idea where the bomb is right now. As those flashes continue to rain down towards the B side of the map, Bro needs to go for a fast swing hit. Or maybe catch Patrick off guard. Patrick jumping around with a bomb like a lunatic. Will smoke off the angle. Sprayed on down for 3 HP. It's not quite going to be enough. And Nikki's just dealt with Christu. 1v3 now for Bro.
I just have to call it a save here. He doesn't know how much damage he's just done onto Patrick as well to make matters even worse. So that's exactly what we'll go for, a save. There's a bit of a hunt as well. Nikki already over towards that A main side of things, immediately reading into the save call, but he's got a nasty little off angle here. We'll dispatch of that. 500 going to move their way up to 5 rounds here. Giving themselves a T side they can believe in all of a sudden. A little bit of encouragement inspired. Nice openings from Nikki. They punish the aggression as well. That was something that in that first gun round they couldn't really deal with all that well, was that double up, that the collapse of control. But this time, you know, Denny's Law hit a wild op shot right there, and then this trade's absolutely massive onto player over an E-box. So 500 able to push that on back.
Yeah, they've held back the tide at least for now and could still actually make this an 8-7.5. Astralis Talent were on the receiving end of a 9-6 on their previous CT side. That was nowhere near enough for them to come back on their offensive. Rainmaker offensively pushing towards the A site will be at least stunted for now, as he lobs in a bit of his own utility. As he rounds his corner, though, Altex does lie in a way. It's a bit of an off angle, but has Rainmaker just spotted him there? I think he might have. He's chickening the angle. This goes for a swing. Only receives damage rather than dishing it out. Does dink Rainmaker in the process, and that's enough for Bro to remove him. Bristow tries to play a cheeky angle behind the smoke on B. Bomb is towards this side of the map, but 500 haven't made their minds up just yet. Instead, they splatter the mind of Mister all over the wall behind him. With a nice headshot rains on through. Ships another big frag. Does go down to Christu. It's kept competitive. Hold on. Christu bags 2 on the P250. This round is now a possibility as the AWP in Denny's slot is spotted.
They're going to buy time for Bro to rotate on in. He's now in towards E-box as well. It's going to make things so incredibly awkward right now. 30 seconds to smoke, further confirming their commitment, but Christo finally bested. Now it's all in the back of Bro. 17 kills to his name. He has been playing a near flawless game right now. He's got the cutoff, but he misses his opportunity to strike, but he won't miss twice. Denny's Law now getting that plant down. No, he doesn't stick it. Instead, he's just going to tap it, and Bro doesn't peek out the back of that. Instead, he's going to play a wiser game here. Another tap on the bomb, but oh my god. Denny's Law sends it straight through the concrete. We'll put Bro down. That is stunning stuff.
That's a rough shot from Denny's Law. Good lord. That was an immensely clean frag to be finding, and after Christu's hard work on the P250 as well, I suppose they at least do damage to deny the overall bomb plant, but it means nothing. 500 had a plentiful economy coming into the final round of the half, and Astralis Talent, after being 8-1 up, now lead only 8-6. That's 2 rounds separating, and Denny's Law looks to separate another player from the Astralis pack, but it's Ships to start the fragging first. Another 3 smoking towards middle. Patty falls. Mr. flashed off the dark angle. The screen's certainly not dark for much longer with that flashbang bouncing straight into his face. Christu, though, an important trade onto Ships. Can he find much more into middle? Not now. As Patrick adjusts nicely onto Mr. And things are again falling apart a bit for Astralis here.
There's no need to overcommit for 500 either. They're going to start to reroute here. And just in time, Altex has turned his attention away from that A site. Now starts to bring his focus back to the prize here. But the utility that's going to be tossed his way is going to make this round near impossible here. He thinks about smoking himself off, but what will that really do, right? Now they're cut off on the rotations. Nicky's going to catch a back turned. Altex will fall to the AWP. Patrick going to punch into digits, and Bro, once again, in a familiar spot, last man standing. Unfortunately, left with very little that he can even say about this round. He's going to give it the old college try. As, this is the last round of half here, but he's just getting bought off the clock right now by Nicky. Can't do anything except for desperately spam. He's still yet to flush him out. Nicky's playing this one far too well. We'll lock in an 8-7.5 there. And 500. Look at the string that you can see at the bottom of your screen there. It's just constant wins. 6 in a row to close things off.
Yeah, that went from a very, very solid map for Astralis, a solid half, to a very, very rocky one, leading only by a single round. And after their, honestly, very poor T-side yesterday, I'm going back to worrying again. They've been so good throughout this tournament, but have they finally met their makers in the new Bulgarian powerhouse? Well, we'll have to wait and see as 500 call another tactical timeout. I respect it. No need to rush things, but I think Astralis Talent are one of the very few teams out there that are statistically better on their CT side of Anubis than their T. They've had a decent number of games to prove that now. It's actually lost it this morning to FDW as well. The 19-15 overtime. Sorry, that's Overpass, not Anubis. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Ignore me. They are much better on their T side. I had the wrong note open. You'll have to ignore everything I just said, Cole. Statistically, they are better on their T side, as is everyone these days. By a sizable margin, too. Yesterday was indeed an anomaly. Hopefully they can patch up yesterday's discrepancies as Rainwaker puts Patty in an early grave.
Really rapid double up on the flank right now as well. Rainwaker continuing to run on in, but Mr. has the clothesline, and Altex follows up as well. Nikki, no luck on his flank. Christo's head turned every which way, but they've done a lot here. Right now, bomb isn't planted for him, but the headshots still continue to rain on in, and ships into a 1v3. They're giving him peeks, they're giving him fights, and it was a little bit scary for a second, but all is well there for Astralis Talent. And like we had said here, almost every team favored on the T side. They won their T side half. With this pistol as well, I think they're wiping their memory clean of any sort of lost streaks, any sort of momentum, especially if they can get this 2-0 start. They go for a force by 3-0 potential. But either way, they won the half, right? On CT side. We've seen how T side of this map can be the highest of levels. Even in tier 2, it's been very T-sided, so I anticipate that Astralis Talent going to use that winning half to their strength.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-back pistol round wins as well. Another massive bonus for their scoreline as Patty gets a couple of cash bonuses, 2 kills here, and Altex chimes in. Patrick does sideswipe him, a nice headshot. A quick ragdoll as Altex starts to apply the pressure. Patrick has already been left in a 1v3 with over a minute on the clock to go. It was a swift dispatching of the B-site defense. I mean, A-site. I still haven't quite gotten used to these bomb sites, but regardless, Patrick tipping his way in towards middle. Maybe I'll just walk straight into the open arms of Christo. Does have the angle advantage, but certainly not the weapon for the job. Nice stuff there from Christo. As that is 10-7 for Astralis Talent. And they won't have the easiest ride to a 3-0. They will at least have a utility advantage. I reckon they won't mind these Galils too much. Extra speed endeavoured as Nicky's on a FAMAS regardless.
I went for the full eco in round 2. Didn't try a force buy. They went for it for this round in particular. Right now. With their investments. So we'll see what they have in store here. Already aggressing. Doing a lot of damage onto Bro. Putting him on notice. And finding an opening kill onto Patty. So far. They have a little bit of tricks up their sleeve here for the first gun round. That's a nice way to kick things off here, but can they close? There's a lot of space given over, and especially in that E-box position, Patrick, he can't be too lackadaisical about his approach here. They've already crossed past his crosshair.
Yeah, Astralis Talent slowly wrangle the bomb back over to them. As they will be executing onto B, it seems. Time is ticking. Christo, no doubt itching for a frag in dart, but they don't clear their close corner. Ships gets lamented. Christo, no! Never should have been allowed that second frag. That is a huge misplay from Denny Slaw. The man had util in his hand. The spray is ridiculously off canter. And Patrick and Altex go blow for blow, but that means it's an advantage for Astralis Talent. 500 now. Heads in hands have to retreat away and save those guns. That is ridiculous what was allowed towards Stark there.
I don't know.
Oh,
You just gotta get that kill right there.
It's free. It's free real estate, Cole, and still it's let slip through their fingers.
Yeah, probably could have decided the round as well if you look at the way things were shaping up. We're gonna get aggressed in on that B side from one prong. It's just a chokehold that it's very hard to bypass, especially with the sort of position that Patrick was playing, right? And the low HP of Bro as well. You just needed that trade. You just needed that kill. You needed that space. And with that whiffed shot right there, that's going to be a brutal round to let slip right there, 500. Again, they saved big time in round number 2 for that round in particular and did not bear any fruit.
Astralis talent, though, it bears a lot for them. Economy, again, a stronghold as 500 hold on to just an M4 and a FAMAS here. They got scraps of util. They got a decent half by going. 5.7s. A damaging pistol indeed, especially at close range, especially around an unexpected corner, but the spray very much anticipates their position as Patty surges forward. Doesn't actually want to go it alone down middle, and up against the buy like this, I completely respect that. Astralis are taking a little while to gain map control, though, as they have 4 players effectively in T-spawn right now. Yeah, 500. I'll let mull for a moment longer, let simmer. Can't really say let us cook anymore, as unfortunately they were locked out of the tournament. Rainmaker goes proactive across the bridge in middle, though, and he's just found the AWP in Christo for free.
It's also found them kind of throwing in a little bit of execute utility as well. They still rotate a lot of presence off of B. It's just kind of a gamble. And in the meantime, they walk right into it. Weird call from 500 there. Trying to get tricky, I think. But in doing so, they kind of played themselves. As the bomb just coasts on in towards the B bomb site here. Now it's a retake endeavor for the remaining. Patty can put that down. Probably any sort of better retake as well. So Astralis talent can move up to 12.
I'll tell you what I think happened. Because it was the AWPer throwing the util at the back there, they thought it was just fake util for a fake execute, so they riskily gamble stack over towards the A site, and it does come back to bite them, because they're wondering to themselves, why is the AWPer just standing out here alone, not even looking in the direction of middle, whilst nobody else has taken any control? And with that said and done, the gamma rotation does cost them any chance at a round, only get a single kill out of it. Chips might be good for another, but Mr. shuts him down, bro. Another Nicky. Sprays with the FAMAS. Will be able to reinvest into a better weapon in the next anyway, so I want to say it's probably for the best he goes down. But that is still a 5-round lead for Astralis talent, and they look significantly better than they did yesterday on their T side.
Yeah, they're building up a little bit of momentum here. Some rounds that maybe should have been converted by 500 slipping on through the cracks, and that's got to be haunting them in the back of their minds. Fresh and quick towards middle here. Hold nothing back. Mister taking a lot of initiative. He's already passed the mollies. He's already passed the utility here. Meantime, secondary up. Brainwaker doesn't connect. Lets him slip on by. And this is good real estate taken by Astralis talent. Forcing Oppers back. Taking some control towards middle. Molly's going to force them even further. What do you do now at this point? 500. They need to take something back in their favor.
Oh, they could find an opening kill here. Patty uses a smoke like a flashbang. And Chips hasn't been spotted. Instead, he sees Patty, but Patty still adjusts in the nick of time. Oh, it goes from bad to worse. Great elevated use of an elevated angle there by Patty as he continues to charge towards his site. Bro charges further, catches Denny Slot. They might have found Mr. Patrick does not miss the first shot, but the second. Altex quick and clean on the trade as Nicky made his drop. Pretty much alluded to by Christo. A big splash in the water is what's heard as Rainwaker now left in a 1v3. Despite rain in his name, he won't be making a splash. Instead, he's saving on the other side of the map. And with that, that's going to be 13-7 for Astralis talent, and they might be punishing on their pick after all.
This is looking very strong out of Astralis talent. Flawless right there. The mid control that they were able to establish was so strong. Follow that up with a little bit of ground being taken towards spawn as well. Like you said, some good elevated angles landed all over the place, and just such a clean round coming through from Astralis talent here. They're showing no signs of stopping either. Another elevated angle. Look at this. They get the high-low peak as well. So this double up that tries to get anything done, it's just nullified so quickly.
Yeah, 500 of themselves looking a little nullified right now. Rainmaker on a hero orb. With pistols surrounding him, a few scraps of util. Actually, you know what? I'll give it to him. It is more than scraps, but it's still going to be a nightmarishly difficult task of holding on to what appears to be this A bomb site. 2 in the site smoke right now, and that could be a difference maker. They're not going to account for the second. Denny Slaw does find a single frag, but it's swiftly removed there by Bro. Rainmaker coming in from connector, forced back by the molly, and the AWP has already lost its effectiveness. Patty catches another headshot, and I have a feeling it might just have to be another save call here. Send in Patrick. Let him at least expend some util. No, no chance in this round for 500. Astralis talent, they just found themselves their 14.
Very well could just sweep the remainder of this half here. 500 got nothing going for him. And it's not going to start now. Peek and turn in the corner there. Rainmaker gets taken down, and of course there's money to reinvest into the op, so he didn't even care about saving. It's just a statement right there from him turning that corner and just decimating the offer. Beautiful work. Astralis talent making it look easy right now. We didn't get to see this strength out of them yesterday, but this is much more like it. This is what we expected. You know, the value out of that punish pick was certainly there yesterday, but it didn't formulate. You know, the execution wasn't there. Well, now they have the execution. They have the firepower, and they are once again just turning and burning it in towards that B bomb site. 2 kills come through. They've taken claim, and now they can start to get a post plant already.
Oh my goodness. Call them the executioners, Cole. Frags keep flying through across the board for this talented talent side. They've doubled the round count of their opposition, and they're about to add a +1 to that note. Denny Slaw and Rainmaker completely trapped out of this one. Denny, he does get himself a kill, and Rainmaker might have a freebie here. They might actually be encouraged into this, as it will only be Mr. Left. 1 versus 2 now for the youngster in Dark, but the chances of winning this round get darker and darker for the likes of 500. They do have util. The Molotov doesn't really land properly. The spray comes through. Great shot from Denny, but he's not got enough time. That's so unfortunate, as Astralis talent still win the round posthumously and missed to get to 1v2 for the stat line.
Lovely execution right there. Mr. playing that one perfectly. Landing the shot right there, playing off the bomb. 2v3 possible. A couple mistakes that they're very fortunate not to get punished for. But God, look at that shot. Shouldn't be able to get away with that. That is unreal. With shots like that, you would expect him to win the round, but it's just so dominant from Astralis talent that they still don't quite finish the job here. Tech pause here called out in what very well could be our last round of play. Astralis talent coming into this one. And again, I do like to see that there's very clearly been, you know, some discussion around how they played out that CT side. They win the half. They give themselves a little bit of confidence heading into the second half, and they take it a mile.
Yeah, they keep running that mile. They'll end up with a marathon if they're not careful soon. As unfortunately, we have been informed that Astralis talent are having a couple of ping issues. Clearly hasn't been affecting them too grievously so far. Yeah, come the end of that round. Lucky they were able to close things before the internet decided to close on them. 500. Looking to stop Astralis talent from closing the map. But it's going to be a rather tall ordeal. 8 rounds required on the CT side of the pool's most T-sided. They've got Nicky on an MP9. Patrick, yet to invest, but it's likely going to be a FAMAS, so we can at least bag some armor behind him. It's looking way too good for Astralis talent right now. And they lost 16-8 on their map pick to Sinners yesterday. They're looking to deal an even more punishing blow to the likes of 500, whose only win on this map was against a weakened berry-wielding Sprout.
That's wild.
It was a 16-14 as well.
Definitely coming into this one and showing that, that is their only win, right? Actually, it's actually wild outside of that, right? 16-6 loss to fours. We'll kind of shake down off. Fours are a good team. We've established that since. Into the Breach, though, 16-3 loss. LDLC, 16-8 loss. And
Ooh.
Sinners, a 16-7 loss.
Not been pretty, has it?
So, yeah, you beat Sprout. But we've seen Sprout. And it wasn't pretty during that little whole, awkward era of the rotating fifth player, getting rid of
I'd like to
refresh,
apologize.
getting rid of Xiphon, stuff like that.
It was with Azza, not Berry, but Azza dropped -12 and had a 0.75 rating.
Well, you know what? He was getting back into the swing of things. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt there, right?
I mean, how much more benefit of the doubt are we going to give Sprout, though? Goodness me, they've looked horrendous lately. I honestly don't think Azza was the right fit for the squad. Their recent loss, they beat Apex out of the blue, but they lost to YTB, Ecstatic, Forza 500. They've lost, I think, 8 of their past 10 matches, 9 of their past 10 matches. Their world ranking has taken a nosedive from 19th to 37th in a month.
Yeah. The thing is about this team is they had a really insane performance. They're making it to the legend stage of the major. I didn't think they were ever going to get past it, right? They're always going to be that tier 2 team, trying to break through, trying to, impress. And I think they had some interest by Astralis and some of their individuals. I can't remember. Was it Xiphon that they asked for a stare? I don't know. Astralis asked for one of the players.
Oh, Astralis asked for Stare.
Yeah, so I feel like they should have taken that deal while they were hot, right?
Yeah, that's rough for Stare, honestly.
Maybe not, right? Astralis, they've had some of their own woes here, but
Oh
Flashbang comes through and Ships gets 3. Patty, though, able to trade out Patrick straight through the smoke. So that's a nice frag right there. It's still recoverable. Altix, he only has to deal with an MP9 around the corner.
He's creeping on through.
Oh.
Really check the corner. We've seen Astralis talent missing their corners a couple of times here, and Altec will miss the trick again. Ships, what a round from him. A 4K to Vitali, leading the charge down for his team, but there's not much of a charge left to lead, if I'm honest, as Astralis talent still have map point and 7 attempts to close it. Also, just on a quick side note, looking at Nordic Masters that Sprout's going to be playing in, they have been gifted the easiest group I have ever seen, and Copenhagen Flames and Ecstatic have been screwed over. They got eyeballers in there as well. The story for another time. I'm very off topic here, but if Sprout don't qualify, at least to the playoffs bracket, that is a disappointment squared. Anyway, back to what I'm meant to be talking about. 1.76 to the 2.06, 500 still favored overall in this series, and I can see why. Inferno up next is a pretty good map for 500, and they have got better wins against better opposition than the likes of our boys in Orange. But then again, Astralis have a higher percentage win rate on Inferno. They've won out 75%, so 12 of their 16 maps played in the past 3 months, up against the 69% of 500. I believe that's 10 or 11. Yeah, it's going to be a very hotly contested final map, and forgive me for talking about our third and final before the second is done, but Astralis talent, if they were to lose this one in overtime, I would go and grab the edible shoe from under my bed right now and eat it on camera. That's what I'll do for you, Exner.
Wow. You didn't have to do it for me. You had to do it for all the fans out there watching the game. It would have. That's who would really enjoy that. But
I still owe Gorillas. Yeah, Gorillas. Remember them? I still owe them a shoe eating. As I said, they never beat Apex, and then they 2-0'd them and made me look very stupid. That's why I have an edible shoe in the first place. In fact, I do have 2 of them. So hey, maybe we could go for the 2-in-1. Maybe CCT can
Is
facilitate.
this a shoe that you can like eat because you don't need it anymore? Or is this like an actual like
No, this is like I
shoe that's
actually
made of
went
food?
out and bought like an edible shoe. I spent way too much money on the gag and then never ended up filming it. So
Gotcha. No, I was just wondering if like you had an old pair of shoes that you were like, man, I'm not using these anymore. These are officially my edible shoes. I thought that's what you called like your hand-me-downs.
Wait, what's
We're
that
just
show
making
you
sure.
guys have in America? Is it My Strange Addiction? Or is this people like eating sofas or couches as you call them?
I don't know. We do have My Strange Addiction. I've never seen that episode of it, but that is a wild show that we do have.
She's addicted to eating her couch.
Jesus.
She eats the like foamy stuff from inside.
No, she does not.
She does.
That
You can look
cannot
it
be
up.
good for your health.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't quite have the stomach capacity to start off with to eat an actual shoe, but I've got an edible one, and I've also got some chili sauce to make it a little more challenging because I think it's made of dark chocolate. I don't like dark chocolate, which was the first crux, but I thought I'd quite literally spice things up a bit. Like I've got a ghost chili knocking around somewhere, and I was just gonna like rub that all over the shoes. that's my plan. I should do this soon. I should stream it. I won't plug my stream because you should be sticking here for CCT. But I don't know.
Well, thank you for the info there, sneaky beaky TTV.
Oh no! I actually have to commit to it now. Oh god.
Back into the action here once again, though. Dennis Law back out of the round, though. I mean, it's been a long pause there, and he's right back to watching his teammates play now. So, no longer on the mouse and keyboard here, unfortunately for him.
Oh,
and the Cristo going to continue that pain. Oh my god, it might just be shut down here. It's going to be a long tech pause, but once Astralis talent, they get all of the tech issues sorted, they come back with vengeance.
I do love the phrase that's been coined by Molding Betters, a business pause. I can assure you that technical pause was not a business pause. We're trying to get back some ping for the Astralis side so they can actually continue to compete at the high level that they've already shown us it.
Maybe it's a business pause for you, though. Trying to plug in all your streams and stuff.
Yeah, no, I'll reinstall Twitter on my phone. I'll boot the stream up and eat a chili shoe. How's that for the first stream back? But regardless, Astralis are streaming their way to a near assured victory. At this point, Rainmaker, are you kidding me? The timing! Oh, it could not be worse. Nikki, a 1v5. He's got 5 basically full HP players to account for, and bro, he sits round the corner. 2 taps is all it'll take. And Astralis finished their roadmap 16-8, a replication of yesterday's scoreline, but this time in their favor. And a great resurgence from Bro after a poor performance on the first map.
Yeah, I love to see that resiliency out of him. You're even Cristo, who started off this map a little bit slow, had a really good T side. He's a big facilitator. Bro, coming back here, think you said it, 6 kills in that last map, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I'm not quite 100% sure. Either way, 25-10 in this map here, and the very next comes through with a beautiful, beautiful resurgence. And I really like to see that out of such a young player there on Astralis talent. That sort of mental resiliency, that can take you a long way, and it might just take them into the grand finals here because it's taking them into a 3rd map versus 500. That's going to be on Inferno. That's going to be after a short break, guys. Once we come back, we'll see who our last grand finalist is going to be.
very complicated job, but I love simple things so much. One move. One push. One touch. One love. One click. One X-bet.
Tired of boring case openings? Do you always get only cheap skins? The Hellcase website has tons of options to upgrade your inventory. It's up to you to participate in giveaways, events, or compete with other players in opening cases. Hellcase, your world of expensive skins.
The hunger for glory feeds the desire. The courage to look for a challenge. To feed your ambitions. To reach for greatness. To become the champion of champions.
And one more map of play here to decide who's going to be meeting Gamer Legion in that grand final. An exciting closer to this series here between Astralis Talent and 500. I am Extra. I'm joined here by Sneaky Beaky TTV, of course, and we do have a very exciting affair for you here on Inferno. Both teams very strong in it, no weaknesses coming through for our decider, and I think that's about exactly what we could have asked for.
Yeah, it's a super close affair between both of these teams. This is statistically both of their best maps. So what better way to decide a finalist than having an even playing field? But to start things off, to decide the sides, we will be heading into a knife round. And Christy, first on up, we talk about there being problems with saving in tournaments, but what about having the first blow, the first stab at it in a knife round? That can take some doing, as Danny Slaw does in Christy. A quick left, right, here and there, everywhere. It's all over the shop as Astralis Talent have themselves a 2v1. Can they corner Nicky? Can they find themselves that coveted final blow? Put them onto the CT side. Yes, they can. Patty swipes. He strikes true in Astralis Talent. I'm assuming they choose to start CT. Oh, hold on. Yeah, they do. Hard will swivel around in just a moment, as we will be getting shortly into our pistol.
Here we go. Third map, pistol round coming up here very shortly. We got the dualies brought out here for two players. Mister, he's doing his duties here, tossing in. Some of the players have been playing a hell of a game. Bro in that last map, Altex in this entire playoffs, right? These two players, huge win conditions here, so giving them the dualies here, giving them the raid boss setup here that they could buy armor here around it. It's going to be very valuable. Altex is over towards that A side. Talked about his multi-kill potential here. Well, he's going to need it because they are closing in on his location soon.
Altex has been closed in upon. That much you were correct about, as Patrick, well, he swipes the first blow. Mr. tacked on down to 6 HP. Not been able to do much to defend here as those dually spin in the opposite direction. 500, a very sturdy post plant here. There's a splash and a smoke on the side of Astralis to try and bludgeon their way back into this, but there are some very impressive crossfires here by the likes of 500. They even have the apartments covered on off. The ships Yet to be activated. Walters his way down. Bro. Oh, the timing. So elusive. But Bro and Christo striking 10 and Patty another. And hold on a minute. All the kills are coming through for Astralis talent. Christo bags another as Rainmaker. Rainmaker has evaded all of their gaze as he sits in a smoke. This might be perfect. They've got the kit on Bro. Rainmaker finally surges through, but Patty holds it, and Astralis talent, with about a second to spare, will win out that retake. And what a flashy way to win a pistol.
I almost never see that work out. Almost ever. And the 4v5 right there. They are able to pull things back. That never happens. The pistols always get overrun. And you lose that A bomb site. We know it's one of the hardest sites to retake in the game right there. While Astralis talent in the opening round of the game have just done it. That is absolutely incredible from them.
Oh my, what a way to start off the third and final. Mr. Lobs a nade down Banana. To pick up where I was left off, damage being dealt, 500 being bludgeoned, but they did get the bomb plant down. They have a fairly comprehensive buy coming into this one. If they pick up the pace a little bit, then perhaps they can do onto Astralis again what was done in the first, and maybe even stand a chance of closing out with that util. Migraine's on down, Flash follows through, Ships chimes on in, and everybody is completely blind. But unfortunately, 500 are blindsided, and Patrick, that is somehow going to pan out, but the bomb is still dropped in the midst of the short side. Rainmaker, will he be up for the job of picking it up? That is clean movement, and an even cleaner bomb plot. There is still a chance in this one, especially if Patrick can find Christo, but no, he will be denied. 1v3 for Rainmaker, and a Tech 9 to do it.
Poor guy's huddled in the side as well. He gets overrun there very quickly. Christo turns the corner. A little bit of fury. Now they go and figure out the gun situation here, how to get the best weaponry right now. FAMAS 2A1S is held on to. Full house between Christo and Alstex. Two players you definitely like to have showing up on the server here for this third map, this decider. And one really good defensive round there up against the slightly upgraded pistols, Mac 10s, Tech 9s. A very impressive retake in the pistol. This is lining up to be pretty strong here. We're seeing the strength for sure out of Astralis talent and their protocols on this map.
Yeah, Astralis talent impressed me with the first half of their CT side of Anubis, not so much the second. Hopefully this won't be a repeat, as Inferno is a lot more of a 50-50 affair than the likes of Anubis. A lot more of a stronghold for 500 than the previous two. I am happy this came to a third map affair, though. Always love a close and competitive semi-final. Both of them have been thus far, as Altex keeps things competitive in bracket. Strikes first, strikes fast as Denny slaw trades, but Bro fires on back. Denny's still alive and kicking, though. The bomb is dropped. Christo last alive in a 1v2 on the A bomb site, at least. But the library rotation is thick and fast. Might not even be needed. Ships last alive. 1v2 spots ahead of both the players. Take off the first. Can he find the second? Dink in the process. Patty seals it. These rounds have been so closely contested. But every time Astralis will pit 500 to the post. 3-0. And my goodness, my heart is racing.
Man, oh man. Absolutely explosive right now. But like you said, every round, it has an X factor to it right now. Ships in the 1v2 almost got it done right there. But Patty closes things out, looking too strong. But it's never too far to the picture here for the boys over at 500, right? They'll continue to get these investments out. They'll continue to try and fight forward here. They're not letting off the gas just yet, even though they're 3-0 down, even though they're losing some of these clutches. They're shaking that off, and they're building back immediately. No bomb plant, of course, so this is going to be a bit of a damper on the purchase.
Just the Deagles here for Nicky and Rainwaker. So there is a bit of a lack of util here for Astralis talent. Maybe the potential to be overrun, especially if ships can start the fragging. Great one set in the 1 versus 2. Couldn't quite convert the second frag as Patty was just a little too powerful and better positioned, come to think of it. 500 have a very good position towards the B-bomb site here. Will they account for the boosted player and Patty? That's yet to be seen. Will they even commit to the execute? Well, they do appear to be lining up for it, just narrowly missed it. As their gaze glazes over the coffin's patty, though, this is a very impressive one-way. Any slot is aware of it, but Mister's actually going to go down first.
Early pick off there from Ships, but there's a lot of rotations arriving onto the scene, and Patty eventually falls off of the boost, but pushing through the smoke. Christo,
my God!
3 kills, and a 4th comes through right after. Rainwaker, I was wondering what on earth happened to his teammates right there. I mean, what happened was no one was watching for that exact push. I don't even know if there was a flashbang. There was just no one covering, and usually on those executes, I know it's hard to coordinate, but that's the sort of protocols that you need to have set in stone at this point. Nicely done from Rainwaker. Tossing an AG, grab himself an AK. Will certainly be taken, but the thing is right there, 500. You always have to have eyes on that CT push, especially if there's, potential flash play right there, because the rapid rotations that came through there are very decisive, and you can see everyone, once this push comes through, everyone's lining up utility, everyone's focused in on the new box, but no one is able to help out when they walk through that spawn position.
Yeah, Gamer Legion are actually shaking right now. The prospect of facing another Academy team in the finals. Goodness me, after the way things went against Spirit. Could be a rocky one. I don't know what it is about these nifty Academy teams, but they do strike fear into the hearts of those who come up against them, as is clear from Astralis' ridiculous closed qualifier run. Yes, that's right. Closed qualifier run, and they are yet to lose a series from the very beginning of their tenure here. They've dropped a couple of maps here and there, but they have been flawless all the way up until the semi-finals. That's 6 matches coming into the playoffs. Another 2 make it through the openings of this bracket. It would have to be 3 lots of flawless 3s to make it to the grand finals itself. And so far with this 4-0 start, they are looking incredibly clean. They want to make it 5. They've got the weaponry, the buy, the util to do it. They do only have a solo B defender right now. It's 500. They do look to capitalize.
Molly tossed in, though, now playing behind the smoke, but Ships immediately dispatches of it this time. They do have coverage. There's no commitment. And Christo, who dives past the smoke. Yeah, he's just going to immediately call, hey, they've fallen off completely here. We can start to reinforce or at least ready the A defense here, but we'll see how ready Altex is. There's so much lining in around the corner. The spray down is there. But of course, Rainwaker, with his hero AK, does it again. Rather give it over to him here. And it's going to be a 2v3, but again, it's that post plan on that A bomb site, and that's where the hope lies in here for 500 to get there first on the board.
Yeah, bomb is planted. They tuck themselves in to try and weather this Astralis storm. The retake is slow but steady as they pace themselves down the short side. There is a crossfire, but Patrick just has a deagle here. He can be dispositioned. That's when things get tough. My God, Patrick! He's the one doing all the dispositioning. 2 massive frags with the Desert Eagle and Astralis talent. They lose out to a half by effectively. Massive resurgence from 500. And Patrick, the absolute hero of that round.
What a beautiful round right there from Patrick. Couple low HP bars, 2 shots, 2 kills. Lands it perfectly, able to close out the round as well. And not the round you really wanted to let go there, Astralis talent. Because we know how close every round has been so far in this series, in this map. We finally get to see 500 win one of those, clutch situations, and you can see what it's done to Astralis talent and their economy.
It sent them packing because of how close all these rounds have been in the past. 500 though, 1 step closer to 2. They got 4 AKs and a Galil. They slipped that unupgraded one in there, but they know they won't need the strongest of buys up against what Astralis are bringing to the table. They have gone for the Force here. I do love myself a Battle of the Force buys on Inferno. I also love the fact that we've not seen any saving yet. We've seen non-stop action here, Exeter, which is unusual for this map. They sail on over. Another one towards top banana looks to be a little more effective, but it falls just narrowly short. Everyone still keeps all their health thus far. Astralis now almost had a full blinded ship. They've actually thrown another flash. It's big damage dealt, but 2 kills come through for 500. And Mr. on a Deagle has a hell of an ordeal here. Misses the opportunity to find a frag. Flashes his way out of dodge as Patrick almost dies to the Molotov that they set. But Bro looks to deal the rest of the damage here. The retake appears to be on, but it's not looking very promising.
A little bit of hope can be inspired there as they wait for the flank here from Allstech to fully formulate. Mr. trying to land some pre-fire again. There's a low HP bar on Patrick, but they've just been met by a re-smoke here, and I wonder if that's going to shut their dreams down. There is no kit. Bomb past half tick. Alltech's walking right into the crosshairs. He lands a headshot, but Rainwaker puts him down there. It's not enough firepower from the MP9. And they will play a bit of a contamination game here, just keeping them tucked in towards the bomb site. Try to maybe do some extra economic damage. Nicky has to run. That shot might just do him in right there. He does fall. Mr. gonna get him on the way out, but not gonna get the round here. 500, they string 2 in a row. They punish the force buy, they punish the flash aggression. I'll get the job done.
I suppose in the process, their economy is at least kept reasonably honest. Astralis Talent currently lead the charge according to the bookies. Our partners over at 1xBet, 1.85 to the 1.95. There is barely anything between these two teams right now. Astralis, they've got the form, a 7-win streak for 500. They've got the world ranking. And also the slightly better history on Inferno. When we're talking about the level of opposition they've been able to beat out. Also, a ridiculous win against Voivoda recently is certainly helping them out with it. As Patrick looks to help them out quite significantly here. Bro will fall. Alltech picks up the A1S, but can't trade. Patrick, the dastardly double, as Christo doesn't anticipate Rainwaker. This entire round's fallen apart in a matter of seconds. Mister finally good for a single, but Denny Slaw's hot on the trade, and with that, it's Patty in a 1v4, and all the man has is a USP.
Be put down as quick as can be. Very clean round coming through there from 500, getting the job done and quickly building back into this T side. Lovely work. Anticipation on this aggression. I like the way they can set Patrick up. And he is certainly arriving here in this decider. Really big rounds coming through from him. These X-Factor situations in the pit with the Deagle to open up the round counts for 500 finally after long last. And then right there delivering, punishing the hero rifle is always such a strong way to open up a scary situation.
Astralis are in a scary situation here as they've just lost Alltech's early doors. One of the men leading the charge for this Astralis defense. So now forced to reassess the situation. Ships, have they trapped him on Banana with them, or are they trapped on Banana with him? It appears to be the latter as Ships decapitates Mister. Does take damage in the process, but that's already a 5v3. Patty, bro, they do claw things back, and that is a great equalization of manpower. Patty needs to be so careful here, though. As they switch their angle of attack, they head back towards Banana. A smoke can be picked up off the ground as Util flies on over. Patrick, Dennyslaw, they fly around the corner. CT smokes it off, and Patty's got a great ordeal here. Does do well to find the first. Actually flips the advantage in Astralis Talent's favor, but 500, they've got the bomb site, and they will be afforded a plant.
The numbers punched in, but Nicky still stands. And now it's all to Patrick. I said he's been such a huge influence. And the clutch here, well, now he's left into it once again. Angle's being covered, though. This time, tucking into the corner. With his back against the wall, he will be put down. And it's going to be a safe defuse here. Astralis Talent, they're able to maintain. Despite a scary start to this round, they still will close out the round in total.
Yeah, 5-3. As it was a 5 versus 3 at one point for 500, but they fluffed their lines right at the very end. Great entries from Ships and Rainwaker. Does eventually turn up trumps for the boys in blue. Now, the Battle of the Economy game could well be won out with a victory here for either side. 500. Do have an AWP in this one, as Mister's struggling on an MP9 instead. That's a lot of util exchange down Banana, but it ships instead to find the frag. The spray from Patty not hot enough for the trade, as Mister not looking too hot either. Ships the king of Banana in this modern day and age, it seems. Catches Patty sleeping. Sends him drifting off. Another 5v3 here. This time it ships with a double opener. Astralis don't quite know what to do with themselves here.
Very unsure. Once again on the back foot. Last time they had some over-aggressing tees to pull them back into favor. Well, this time they're just relying on a gamble stack to get the job done. But you kind of look at where the bomb is inching his way forward, and you might have a little bit of hope. Things might be heading your way here. Might be your lucky day, Astralis talent. In the right position at the right time with the right players as well. And Ships is going to full commit, but he's solo. And it spots out the boost. That's going to be the reaction. That's so sick from 500. It's immediately dispatched of, but Ships was one of those low HP bars, right, where you don't really mind sacrificing him. He's probably not going to be of the most used in a post plant. So they send him on in. He realizes that there's got to be a couple over towards this B set. We took care of 2. 1 is boosted, so that should mean there's 2 more. And so they just beeline it in towards the A-bomb side. That's a very sick play from them.
And you know what? Of all the saves I've seen on Inferno, I'm definitely not mad about this one. They cut their losses early. They keep 3 guns into the next, 2 of them AKs, in fact. And on the defensive, that's a pretty profitable endeavor. Mister and Patty, I don't think they can quite be afforded a drop by their team just yet. They can get Famuses, that's for sure. As that timer ticks on down, 500 keep this first half very competitive and do not allow the boys in blue to run away with anything. Yeah, we can get perhaps an A1S from Christu and a FAMAS thrown on over as well. The rest of them invest into util. As if that, no, double MP9 buy. Okay. Util clearly more valuable than the slightly upgraded rifles, as 500 won't be dealing with the same issues on their side. It's 4 AKs and an AWP, and they're hungry to even this up early doors, and subsequently, if they win this round, a guarantee to take the lead.
Ships, what? The smoke didn't land. Oh,
that's rough.
I hate that for him. I'm so sorry. Ships, such a stunning round the last, but sometimes that'll happen. Maybe Source 2 will patch that up, but unfortunately we're still dealing with some slight issues right now. So is Astralis talent. Of course, the answer is back pretty quickly, and some redemption to be found here by 500, but they still have themselves 4v4 that they can play with, and they are hungry to retake this control towards the bottom of Banana. They're just going to walk right through it there. The spam is so well placed from Patty. Does a lot of chip damage on the way out, but now they're getting hunted in. They'll get chased into the very end of Banana, but well, they go for some re-aggression here. I'm looking at the flash held out by Patty, and Mister's ready to strike, but they are waiting for this.
Yeah, Alt misses a shot, but Patrick does not. Great adjustment, and now a 4v3 off the back of it. I feel like that was almost an unnecessary play there. Astralis, I guess they try and buy themselves some ring room, buy themselves some space, and hold on a minute, there's no rotations despite the fact they've seen at least 2 Banana players. Patty clings on towards the back lines. Do they think this site is completely empty? They will. Patty, though, has to reveal himself, and Nicky bangs another shot. As Altex and Pro don't rotate at all. Astralis gave up on this round before it really even got juicy. 500 get the bomb down for free. And that will be a 5th on the board for them. But I hate to upset you, Exeter, referring to an earlier point. Grenades have their own physics coding that's unrelated to that of Source. So Source 2 won't be patching up those pesky, weird and wacky nade bounces, wobbles of damage, and phasing through Molotovs in the term of smokes. That will just be up to Valve to do their own homework, but I highly doubt that they'll be doing anything on nades anytime soon. According to multiple sources, Source 2 is currently in the works, and I imagine that's going to be quite the hefty undertaking.
Yeah, it's coming out in the next 15 to 30 days, so just get ready for it.
I'd say 15 to 30 years, I'll be honest, but I reckon I'll be
I
like,
love.
I'll have 2 kids and a, well, actually, I say a house in today's economy. I'll have 2 kids and I'll be renting.
It's all good.
The UK, man, it's tough out here.
Oh, don't worry. It's not just the UK. We got it right here at home, in the US as well. All that being said here, taking some valuable real estate is 500 in these T-side rounds. They continue
You
to
did
look.
that on purpose.
They,
Sorry.
they're able to get away with a whole lot of map control here every step of the way. Like you had said, there's some flashbang
Ooh.
plays weren't working out in the last round. A little bit unnecessary in the last round, but this time, Altex given a little bit of resources here will work it to perfection. Needs to find the follow-up, but Patrick instead is going to land the kill, and that is the A site kind of opened up here, unless Bro can say anything about it, and he's still stuck behind his smoke at the moment. It fades away. Rainwaker
Spots him.
tosses it back in, though, and it's a bit of whack-a-mole here, but now it's blind whack-a-mole, and it's pretty tricky.
Yeah, I don't know quite how blind whack-a-mole is meant to work. Aimless swinging, it seemed, as Christo swings for a rear flank, but Chips, yeah, gets a freebie. Doesn't anticipate there being a lurk in middle. The Chips has been pretty nifty at cutting off these rotations. Outside of the pistol where he fluffs his lines in the apartments, a very prominent piece of the puzzle. As Astralis puzzle about how to go about this retake. Bro's already saving, though. The pistols try and do the dirty. Mister might get a freebie here, but Chips is just so much faster. Patty spins on over, chases him down, but he has support from Patrick. Really well played there by 500, not giving up any weapons outside of that single AK on Bro. And they also take back the lead, 6-5 now, as Astralis talent begin to struggle on this CT side. I wonder how much real estate goes for in Inferno, though. Small, quaint Italian town. Admittedly, an oil pipeline underneath. That is why the terrorists are looking to blow up said small Italian town, according to the lore of the map. 3Clicks Philip and Jesus have both done very entertaining videos on it. I encourage you to go and check those out in your spare time, after the stream is over, of course. As we've got a grand finals up next, and one of these 2 teams will be playing in it. Who's going to get there? Still very much undetermined. It's a very close first half here. And this is both teams' best map statistically, so I could not tell you who's going to surge into the lead come the end of it.
Right now, 500, though, kind of surging forward here at the moment. And again, taking so much ground here. Altex stands inside a boiler. There's a bit of a gap in the smoke. Nikki, oh, wow. Gets spammed out by Bro before Altex ever has to show his corner there. Now he gets a strike. Now Mister gets a strike over towards Banana. The last player spotted out. Rainwaker dealt with, and that is much more like it. First Astralis talent on the defense right there. Able to deal with it handedly. Impressive stuff, but they do need to continue to show that sort of capability.
I mean, I feel like they're probably not going to be able to replicate a round like that too many more times. That was ridiculously impressive from Astralis talent. They don't let anything slip on by them. 500, they do let things slip in the meantime, but all in all, at this equalised scoreline, there's another exchange of util towards the top of Banana. Nobody takes full control of it this time, though. 500 look to be a little more controlling back towards the other side of the map. They've got presence in apartments early doors. Rainwaker hesitant to fully extend, and I can see why. Nobody wants to be the first man to give up an advantage here with the stakes being so high. Boys in blue, though. They don't overextend like they were characteristically doing in these previous few rounds. Slower pace here for both sides. I'm certainly not averse to it. Patrick, though, taking early nade damage. Won't be too pleased with that. Makes him very one-tappable along with Rainwaker. Who's going to make the first real move, the first opening frag? As Nikki looks to get a bit more aggressive.
That is quite a bit of damage there. At least threatened somehow. Only walked away with a bit of a chip off his shoulder. There's Christo. Has his teammate there smoking the molly behind him as well. And there's 40 seconds left. We talked about the slower pace here coming through from was over at 500, but soon that pace needs to be picked up here. And once that smoke towards the top of brackets fades away, I do feel like we're going to get a really valuable bit of control here held on to. The 5v5 still ensues here. Now the execution with 20 seconds left on in towards this B bomb site. Patrick makes his first move, but no kills yet confirmed here. And still Christo in the back of sight, yet to have been spotted, playing around this pillar to perfection. Patrick spams him down through the smoke, and Patrick with another. That is incredible work here, cutting off the flank as well as ships. And the bomb's now planted here. Altex and Bro left to pick up the pieces here, but they've got an op still ready to play. Ship's down low, but he's got the AWP here. Rainwaker cuts off one of those prongs, and Bro left last man standing. He gets chased by Rainwaker here, closed out. 500 looking clinical on the execute.
Yeah, Rainwaker turned playmaker. It shows that 500 get that over the line and leave no survivors, no stragglers on this Astralis side. But the true hero of that round is the smoke criminal in Patrick. The fact he finds that second frag as well is ridiculous. And it's actually 500 taking the timeout here. They want to let Astralis talent mull in their losses as they again steal away the lead. They've got a decent buy behind them too. As Astralis talent, they're going to make this one very competitive. Whether or not they can pull off another flawless round off the back of a loss like that as they did prior, well, that's yet to be seen. But in the penultimate round of the first half, stakes could not be higher and the scoreline couldn't be closer.
Oh, we're getting a very competitive affair here out of the decider, as we'd anticipate. Fully expected this coming through to this matchup here, knowing that neither one of these teams was, super advantaged. But this T side resurgence, starting off 4-0, but now being in the lead for 500. It's a great way to pull things back into your favor here. Just Christo turning the corner another inch, could be the death of him, but he knows that. And he wises up. Oh man, what a bait of the op shot right there from Patrick. There's a huge gap in that smoke though. That's a liability. Someone could get seriously injured right there as a shot again pops off. They got flashes to back up this as well.
Yeah, they got the manpower too. Banana control's now been fully given up to the likes of 500. They look to surge on forward. Patty spotted towards the coffins. That's a gorgeous spray. But Chips immediately responds. Mister, he is very lucky not to be lapped up by the flames there. They spread, but not quite far enough. As Mister, his reach needs to spread far and wide. The flash is good. Fully blinds a lot of people, but Patrick gets ahead of the utility. And Christo was unable to respond without taking damage first. Christo has got the decent angle for it, but hold on a minute. 500 have got a better angle. They've sent the bomb on a recovery mission, and why that's to recover space towards the A bomb site. Rainwaker here in tandem, leaving just Alex Altec, in the 1 versus 2. Oh, and he's about to fade away to B as well. Gets caught off by the short side players. Rainwaker seals the deal with a killing blow, and Christo and Bro are such low HP. Patrick very keen to mop them up, and if he does so, there will be no save weapons into the Nexus. Look at Christo and Bro's economy. $0 a piece on each. And 500 are first to wait.
Man, oh man. Oh, wow, dude. That is actually just... I can't imagine the frustration on Christo right now, missing that shot. Crouching right into the angle, doesn't get any freer than that, but just barely whiffed out on... You're looking at Bro here. I don't know if he'll be able to stand for too much longer. It's a nice headshot. Trade comes through as quick as can be, worth the sacrifice there. It's 8 rounds here. Winning T side from 500 comes through. And the purchase for the last round of half, they really needed those 2 saved guns because now they're left with lacking utility and 3, maybe 4 MP9s.
Yeah, just to rub it on the flip side, 500 have a spare AWP and a spare AK in spawn. Actually, make that 2 spare AKs for a sprinkling assault on the top of an already wounded Astralis. Christo, We've not seen this yet, though. That's a really nice opening shot, but it's not with an AWP, so Rainmaker will survive the ordeal as Patty somehow survives that towards the bottom of Banana. Denny's Law, a swift response, a shot through the smoke. It lands cleanly. Mr. forces him off the angle, flashes rain on down as Patrick again takes presence. Mr. jumping around the corner, fully reveals his body. A couple of rounds of lead are surged into his stomach. 4 and 11 right now for Mr. Not the best as CT halves. Needs to start performing to a more significant degree. Great flashbang there from Denny's Law. A better position from Mr. as him and Bro spray down 2. Bro, a follow-up with the MP9, leaving Rainmaker in a 1v4. The man to receive damage at the very start of this ordeal. Fighting for his life and fighting for an impossible round. Great stuff from Astralis. With a far weaker buy, they still bullet through. That will be 7 on the board as they interrupt another streak for 500. And it will be the closest scoreline possible coming into that second half.
Third map, close as can be right now for these two teams. Winner gets to take on Gamer Legion in the grand final. So this is just to make it into that final here. Again, Astralis talent. What a story it would be for these guys, right? They've had a bit of a gauntlet to go through to get here. Incredible win yesterday versus Sinners. It would be just as impressive versus 500 here today. Doing what the main roster did not too long ago as well. That's always encouraging, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The Astralis talent can make it all the way through the closed qualifier bracket as well to this stage. I'd argue they've done a better job than the Astralis main roster. They struggled against Aurora too. Almost lost things out in an overtime on Nuke, if I'm not mistaken, as their decider. Wouldn't it be great if back-to-back Academy squads could defeat Gamer Legion too? I say great, it would be entertaining, probably for my sake rather than Gamer Legion's. As this util rains down, what concerns me most is that Astralis have a 66 T-round win percentage. They are much stronger on their T side than their defense. So the fact they find 7, very promising. But Denny's Law and Chips, they find one apiece. The Julies keep on firing, but Denny's Law is the one to remove Patty. Altex finally returns a frag, but the bomb to perhaps return to sender as it backs away down T-ramp. They're looking for mid-aggression, praying they get a freebie. Not going to be afforded one as the defense is split, but it'll be a 2v2 regardless of where they go.
Some potential here. A weakness on that A bomb site. But slowly going to be reinforced here by Patrick. You can see him making a slight rotation in. Very exposed towards brackets, but there's that peak. There's the early information. No kill from Rainwaker. Finally, though, Patrick able to put an end to things in 1 HP. Very low for Altex. He grabs a bomb, and he will get those digits just barely punched in. Nicely done from Altex to at least give him an extra edge in this next round. That's something that Astralis can take home.
Yeah, Altex finds 2 and the Blom plant. He does everything in that round. His teammate tries his best to throw the plant, as he quite literally throws the bomb into the middle of no man's land, but a nice bit of KZ for Altex ensures it is still planted. And there is still some semblance of a buy here for Astralis talent. Altex is going for a hero AK alone? No, the rest of the squad, they do start to invest. There's a lot of rifles here and not very much util. Very little util, in fact. Not a single flashbang for Astralis talent. Okay, I'm curious to see what they can really bring to the table here. Off the back of that util purchase, I believe it's a much stronger buy for 500 here. As Banana Control is taken by 500 and Nade is thrown in response, but that leaves him with a single smoke to play off of here. And Dry Peaks have already gone pretty badly. Altex does trade. Bro finds a second. Patrick, a very prominent piece of the puzzle thus far, catches another, and Christo also off guard. But Christo, hold on a minute, adjusts himself and ensures Patrick fluffs his overall lines. It's a 3v2 for Astralis talent here. And despite my lack of util, perhaps I was too cynical, Cole.
There's so many low HP bars here, but we know how hard it is to get past these crossfires. There's not a kit in that HE that I was really considering maybe the last hope. If that landed a kill, they could have moved in. It's just been tossed. So 500, they get responded on quickly. And you consider there what Altex was able to do. Just one round prior, getting that bomb and getting it planted there, it gave him so much more firepower in this round. Mac 10s and Galils rather than Tech 9s and Scouts. Much better here as Ships tries to find some exit damage. He will land one kill. He might go down to the bomb, yeah.
That was a bit silly from Ships, if I'm honest. The fact he misses all of his bullets on the first two players, including Christo, who is ridiculously low. A mild concern, to say the least. As honestly, I think it would have been far more worthwhile him saving his Kevlar and FAMAS into the next, because now he has nothing. Nicky on an island. It's kind of double eco territory here for 500. We might have to see them go into a force buy, and that might still let them give up a ninth. They could at least deal some extra damage, but regardless, Astralis Talent are in a great position here. As Nicky, the man with the rifle, sits 3 in 11, decides actually to give it over to Ships. And it takes a strong-minded CS player to realize you are not doing well to give that rifle up, to give your team a better chance. But after Ships' exit frag performance in the previous, maybe he's not the best to be wielding it either. I personally give it over to Patrick.
Patrick's been such a huge X factor. That is for sure. 18 and 12 right now. He's stepping up big time in this decider, but it might not be enough. You might need some extra elements here. Shipso still strong. Ichi's sinking on it. Look at this read though from Astralis Talent. I mean, this is flawless. They're just gonna waltz on in towards this A bomb site. They're already wrapping. I feel like we're already gonna decide this round here. It's gonna be tied up at 9s and maybe just like a round where all 10 survive, considering they're so far removed.
Do you believe in unicorns, Cole?
Uh,
Because it's about to be a unicorn round, is where I was going with that.
yeah. No, I was trying to think of something to say there, but Rhino exist.
Like a big grey horse.
Yeah. They had to have existed at some point, right? Maybe evolution got rid of them.
Yeah, they just kept getting their horns stuck in like trees and fences and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough for the unicorns, man. Don't know where I'm going with this analogy, but regardless. Astralis, they will be going to an equalised scoreline off the back of the first genuine unicorn round I've seen in a very long time. What a speck of damage dealt. This 500 still can't really afford to invest. Again, they've got their buy from the previous. Money is slowly being built on up. Maybe they could chuck a few more bits of util in, a couple more flashbangs to trade around. Otherwise, Astralis Talent, they should be taking the lead here at 10. And this is on their strongest side of T.
Looking very strong. Ships put down early. It's early B utility that they continue to throw on in. It is really avoiding the presence of this hero rifle. Showing a lot of presence there. Right now, finally a shot through the wall right there landed by Christo, but they stacked B again. They called this once more. And they're hoping that they can get the job done here, but this time I think that Astralis Talent are going to just walk right on into this one. 2 flashes thrown in. That's all of the counter utility that they could pop on in through. And they duck underneath this crosshairs.
Oh,
but
no.
Patrick and Rainwaker have the perfect guns for the job here to deal with it. And 2 trades come through back in return. Another one onto Rainwaker as well. Ships is down low if you remember. Astralis Talent, despite a scary start to that one, they will recover.
Astralis Talent get the bomb planted. As Denny Slaw and Ships, they've got a rifle between them. Perhaps another one could be afforded to them if Denny rounds that corner, but he's waiting for his teammate, who might not actually be coming. He sits patiently on T-ramp, and Denny, yeah, will just be going for exits and maybe, possibly stealing a rifle drop towards the top of Banana. And I think Astralis Talent have done a good job of removing them. I don't think there anything... Excuse me, I don't think there is anything for Denny Slaw to be picking up as he falls back down Banana, and that will be a great 10th on the board. I say great. It does get a little bit messy. Maybe that bomb has given Denny a present. No, actually, he has to run all the way onto the site, and he's not going to get there in time. Rainmaker starts off nicely. Another frag from Patrick coming on through as the Smoke Criminal continues his devious ways, but Pro is able to adjust with Mister. And that's another timeout call by 500. Their third in total in this map. As you can tell, the pressure starts to get to them. Whilst another tactical timeout is called, don't forget to check out our partners over at 1xBet. Use code CCT for up to €130 off deposit bonus. But please do remember, ladies and gentlemen, gamble responsibly. Do not bet more than you can afford to lose. Don't go chasing your losses, and don't bet if you're under the age of 18. It simply is not worth it. If you do want to take advantage of that offer, scroll down below to the banner in our stream description. But please heed my advice. And remember also, Counter-Strike is a very unpredictable game. And this matchup, I'd say, is a pretty 50-50 split.
Yeah, no clear favorite right now. But Astralis talent starting to show a little bit of favoritism to this T side. Like incredibly strong loss. The pistol started winning out from there on out, though. I knew coming into this one that this could be a strong suit for them this second half that they were looking forward to getting the jump on. Ollie tossed in towards Banana. That's going to really create a lot of chaos here. Need a flashbang or something along the lines, but instead flashes come in return, and the chase is on. Ships is getting run down here and spammed out through the smoke, finished off by Patty. And no kills come through from this B defense at all. They're left behind mollies, behind smokes. Bombs already planted here, and a 4v5 retake. Actually, no kit right now either for 500. I mean, this might just be a save again. They might be just forced to run away. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Another round just completely in Astralis Talent's favor.
Astralis Talent has started to pull off a couple of unexpected stops here in the road for 500. Again, a very impressive T-side continues to deliver. 500 have been dispositioned. And no doubt sitting in disbelief as what was a lead for them is slowly drifting away. 2-round deficit for them now. They will be able to afford a buy come this one. He can get rid of that FAMAS if he chooses to do so. But hold on a minute. Nicky still has a 0.25 KD. He sits 3-12. And the thing is, even if he does start showing up, I don't reckon that's enough for a win condition. Astralis Talent, they've just looked ridiculously strong. As Patty continues a couple of nifty entries.
Yeah, they've had the full team effort. Actually, everyone here helping out. Again, Mister, he's oftentimes the more supportive element. He's tossing in the utility for his teammates to get activated here, and he's throwing some excellent utility at that. So, the people that he's setting up right now are working wonders on the entry prowess, like you had just said. Meanwhile, that B defense, again, left a little bit lackluster. This time, Mr. lurking about towards the A side. Gets spammed straight through the smoke, so a little bit of relief here among the 500 camp here as they find the opening pick. A long time coming since they've had that.
Yeah, Astralis Talent look to do away with this advantage, though. It will be a 4 versus 2 on the A bomb site, and slowly but surely they surround the site defenders. It's a siege now, and Rainmaker strikes first. Christo actually gets Patrick through the smoke. Doesn't even need to see him before he removes him. And this is where the crux of Inferno again comes into play. Save after save after save for 500, but still no round afforded to them. Hold on a minute. Nicky gets afforded a freebie. Are they going to be called into action here? No, there's just simply not enough time. Astralis Talent are well aware of what they've done. That's a 12th on the board, and they can sit quite happily on it. Nicky may be hunting down an exit frag or two. Not too upset if he loses a FAMAS, but The armor's probably the bigger problem here. Christo, though, instead edges through the apartments, might come face to face with him at any moment's notice. He will have some support from Patty here, Christo. Clears his angles anyway. Ships sprays 2 of them down, does a bit of economic damage, but the economy's not really what Astralis talent are worried about right now, as all of their players have over $10,000. A nice 1v2 clutch given to Bro for the stat lines. Regardless, there's 500. Oh, they're clutching at straws here. 3-round deficit. They desperately need to start fighting back.
This is just stunning result coming through from Astralis talent. The excitement certainly there. So close they can taste it here, and it's been 3 mappers these last 2 games, but they have been able to show their strength. T side has been so strong throughout these entire series as well. They've always had some depth. They've always had some coordination outside of that Anubis game that we saw yesterday. Again, brackets being taken. All the saves that are being forced here lead to nothing. It leads to no further success as Bro and Altex just delete 2 of those A players. Dennis Law in the pit. He can only chamber in 1 shot at a time. He's good for 2, but he misses his 3rd. Valuable time being bought off the clock here. Enough for a flank to formulate, but Christo turns a corner just in time and bails them out. 13 for Astralis talent, and we're left in a familiar state. 500, another 30 seconds to talk things over, but maybe not even that, as they're getting hunted here. Christo running up banana with his knife out right now. Gets the rifle out. A little lackadaisical around the corner, but nonetheless, nothing but saves here for 500. After the pistol, they are losing out this game.
Nothing but saves, but can they save? Face it, that's more the problem they've been struggling with. They're constantly bringing another rifle into the round after they lose, but they keep losing the rounds. As you said, they've had a single win on this CT side so far, and that was their pistol as Astralis talent. They might even catch him. They think him through the wall. They know exactly where he is. Barely allowed to survive is Nicky, as he's been underperforming gravely so far on this map. 5 in 13. He's not died in a fair while. He keeps on saving, but that's besides the point. Astralis talent, they have a 4-round lead now. 500, if they don't wake up here, they won't ever wake up, as Ships look to put a few to sleep with that Mag 7. I have not seen Ships pull out the Mag 7 in quite some time, but boy am I happy to see it. This man is a menace, top banana. He loves to play hardball with it, but he won't be afforded the opportunity just yet as that Molotov burns him out of position. Rainmaker, how he's not burning is beyond me. He decides to push into the apartments, goes for a preliminary swing, but Altex, I think he might have seen this. Regardless, Astralis won't be pressuring Ships. Instead, it's the A bomb site under assault. Patrick forced off the balcony, heard on the drop. As Rainmaker starts to fragging, Mr. How the hell is he alive? Mr. How the hell is he doubled up? That's ridiculous! Rainmaker trapped on the back of the bomb site. Might be able to see Patty above this smoke, but he gets pre-fired! Oh no, it's all collapsing for 500 here. Astralis talent, they're just 2 rounds away from winning.
Saving an op and a Mag 7 here. Sign of the times here for 500. Nothing going their way. Hall's pop comes through, and I said Mystery's been setting up his teammates for success. He hasn't been a big part of the aggressive element. He's been doing some of that A side, lurking on a lot of those B executes. Well, finally he gets his chance to sing. He gets loud. Christo, again, probably going to get taken down here. Not a real worry. The op drops, that's the biggest deal. Just, there you go. Sure, grab yourself an AK. You would have had a rifle anyways. It's going to be... You hop out of the hands, that's a real concern. I guess money's still very solid here for 500, no matter what the case is. Op should still be able to come out.
You say that,
no real worries.
Chip saving that AK over means Nicky can get a drop. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to buy full util on the side of Ships. So that AK save is actually decently valuable, but ooh. 500 stock's not looking so valuable according to our partners over at 1xBet. Actually, whilst I'm here as well, don't forget to check out our partners over at Hellcase. If you like the look of some of these skins on the server and want to try your hand at unboxing them for better odds than with Valve's cases, then never fear. Use code CCT for a free 70 cent and a 10% deposit, or if you're a returning customer, refill bonus of Please do remember that case openings and their subsequent skin upgraded game are still gambling, so please do not gamble if you're under the age of 18. Don't gamble more than you can afford to lose, as Ships does not lose the opening duel for the first time in a long time. Nays down Patty and buys 500 a lifeline in round number 24.
That is something they desperately needed. But again, this A control is already pressed upon here. Cristo is inside of the site, and he's landed another opening pick here. There's no one else that can stand in defense. There's no Moto Smoke either, but maybe for good reason, as it allows for Altex to pull a kill back. Denislaw turns the corner into his immediate demise. And it's a retake on the A-bomb site. They've gotten themselves in some valuable positions. Double up inside the pit. Bro on the site here, low on HP. Utility raining on in here for both camps. All the utility flying. As I think we're going to see them wait to strike until they can finally let this apartments player sink on in. Ships finds the first headshot. That's nasty work from him as Altex has to move in to the pit position. Another headshot comes through, but he gets overrun. It's just Bro left on low HP. There is a kit here in Ships, but they're not clearing the corner here just yet. They completely avoid him, and now he is able to strike here in time. Enough bot off the clock. Astralis talent. They put themselves on series point, and everyone goes down.
That's huge. Nicky not even afforded the save means no rifle can be dropped over to Denislaw or Patrick. 6 rounds in order to close here. As Astralis talented youngsters indeed, the underdog by quite some measure. I believe the original odds were about 1.4 to 500 to the 3.8 for Astralis talent. How they've turned those around and spat them out in the faces of the non-believers. Astralis talent finding more success than their main squad have done recently. That's the joke that's been bobbing around as, oh, they're having a bit of a nightmare over against Spirit. Well, they did yesterday at least. Ships, though, again, good for an entry. One of the only consistent pieces of the puzzle for 500 here. One of the only men still finding frags in the second half. As again, they're bodied left, right, and center. Their only win was in the pistol here on their defensive half. Denislaw boosted up, though. Nicky finally finds another kill. It's a 3v5 for Astralis talent, and I'm not saying they've not won these time and time again, but I feel like this one may finally be a bridge too far. But they do have a 3 versus 2 on the A-bomb site.
An MP9. Mister needs a quick headshot to dispatch of this. That would be the site here claimed. Patrick shows his shoulder. Gives up his position, but there's the low HP bar taken down of Cristo. I don't know if they'll be able to deal with the actual 3v2 now on this A-bomb site. Reswing, though, comes in from Ships. That is ambitious, to say the least, in this sort of position. They're playing like they have nothing to lose right now, but great flashbang. That's much more like it. Mister blinded up, but gets away. All about just finding an extra kill or two here on the way out. Not afforded to him. So finally, 500, they win a rifle round. Their first of the half. It comes at the bitter end here. Astralis talent. They're going to let things creep back in, or is that just a flash in the pan?
Well, it is double digits now for 500, but the fact that's only their first gun round in this second half doesn't fill me with massive amounts of confidence here, Exner. As that timer ticks on down into round number 26, we do go, and Astralis, they're looking to take this one home as Patty. Hold on a minute, Patty on a Mac 10 and full utility. I reckon they might be going for a faster pace here. They're looking to get him to create some space. He's done it before on the Mac 10. Looking to do it again. Hasn't quite been as confident on the rifle and certainly won't be confident at all now that he receives a cracking shot through half roll from the AWPer Ships. Not normally the primary AWPer for this team, but he's been doing a damn good job with it towards top banana, and he does another opener. As Patty will fall to the 50 cal round. Mister Swift to trade things out though with Ships. My god, he's still alive. A no scope, but is quickly traded on out as 500. They're fighting here for their tournament lives and for their spot in the grand final.
Oh, a lot of damage done on a Cristo, but he's still able to get the plant down in, but he can't get himself in towards new box. That's a key detail here. Strongest post plant for an op or just to isolate those fights, but look where Bro has just plucked himself in. Now he's in new box. Ready to strike here. Ready to cut things off. Rainwaker tosses in a flashbang. He looks to find the fights here, but Bro, he's knocked down one of the players here. Now Altex has the crossfire assembled, and he's able to find another. Last alive is Denislaw. Tries to keep things contained. Bro just trying to buy time. There is a kit. He has a chance, but look at this from Bro. He finishes the job early. No scope to finish it. And Diddy's Law, nothing he could say. 500. They will fall, but Astralis talent, they stand tall once again.
That is a massive 16-10 victory as the Academy squad for Astralis have just won 3 in the closed qualifier, 3 in the group stage, 3 now in the playoffs, and bagged themselves a spot in the grand finals. The 73rd team in the world up against the 36th, and they come out victorious again. They now have their biggest challenge yet up against the likes of Gamer Legion. Gamer Legion still clinging on to that top 30 spot. I believe they're 29th at the moment. But regardless of all of this, I still can't believe the miracle run continues. Again, it's the underdogs to strike in this side of the bracket. 500 themselves, the underdogs to get here. But unspeakable victories for Astralis talent. Again, a 2-0 over Copenhagen Flames to start off this bracket. And now 500 and Sinners fall prey to them as they just look unstoppable. Can they take it all the way? As it appears Academy squads are the crux of Gamer Legion in grand finals. Well, I'm excited to see. Exeter, do you have any closing thoughts before we throw to our final break?
Yeah, I mean, my closing thought is just who's going to stop these guys, right? Who's going to stop Astralis talent right now with what they've been able to deliver? Like you had said, they run through the Swiss stage dominant. They've won 3 matches. They've gone the distance here. It's required that extra spurt of energy. Now they're going to have a very long day ahead of them, right? 2 best of 3s. They're on their 3rd now, I think. As they were over in CCT closed qualifiers for Central Europe earlier this morning. It's a long day of Counter-Strike, but can they utilize that to their own benefit here? They've been playing a lot. Now they need to close things out. Like you said, Gamer Legions versus Astralis talent. We'll be tossing it to a quick break, and once we come back, that grand finals is waiting for you all.